Mind control technology is one of the most common crimes, at least vocalized or complained about on the internet today.
Congress, they're talking about directed energy weapons being used on the public. Department of Homeland Security brought it up because I saw the video footage.
There's been a lot of research done into how to put voices into one's head. It was found long ago that if you can put a voice into someone's head, you can do several things. If I put a voice that's foreign to your normal thought pattern in your head, that becomes harassment. And the harassment over time will make you display signs of schizophrenia. Mm-hmm. When you go and tell people that you're hearing voices, we've been patterned to turnkey see that as schizophrenia and not even look to see if there's a legitimate source for it. Mm-hmm. If I put a voice in your head that's in your voice, and if you pattern a thought, like I tell some of these victims, when you read a book, you're actually hearing your own voice in your head as you read. If I put that voice in your head, then that becomes a thought. Wow. And you'll act on those thoughts, and that's how they think that some of this is being used for subliminal control.
I mean, voices are the easiest ones, because all you have to do is stimulate the cochlea with a set resonant frequency. It's very easy. Voices are very easy. And it isn't people imagining voices, they physically hear them. They physically hear, as I'm talking to you, my voice isn't inside your brain. My voice goes no further than an inch into your ear, no further at all. It's the electrical signal that makes you interpret how I sound. And once you've got this electrical signal, which can be a chip or lots of things, you can physically make people hear voices, certain voices. And it can be any conversation, and it can be anybody you want to hear. It can be a soft, angelic voice, it can be a god. It could be something that scares you, like a devil. It could be anything.
What is V2K? Voice to skull is the technical ability to transmit voices, sounds, and communications into the skull of a victim via electromagnetic radiation or other means. This technology is perceived in the victim's cochlea and most often involves two-way communications with unwanted remote operators that assault the victim's every thought and action in attempt to produce a fight or flight response where they measure the result. The use of trauma upon a victim generally isolates the victim from family, friends, and neighbors, as they are convinced by the remote operators that the people within their everyday life are responsible for this torment. In truth, this tactic empowers the tormentors, and the victim should attempt to remain objective at all times and neglect the temptation to appease their aggressors by playing into this scheme of blaming others around you. Remember, this is one of the most advanced technologies in the world for which most have never heard of and believe it to be conspiracy or fiction. A good exercise is to put yourself in the shoes of someone else around you and contemplate being told by another that they are being remote neural monitored, having head-talk conversations, or experiencing voice-to-skull communications with gang stalkers. Even you, without knowing what you do as a victim, would presume the person explaining it at best may be suffering from a mental illness or be a conspiracy theorist. At CIS, we know you're not making this up, yet we suggest you remain measured and objective with who and how you discuss this symptom. Proof of existence, methods, and means speak for themselves in DARPA's N3 program and the video that follows. Protect yourself always and never give in to the torment you suffer. Find others with whom understand your circumstance, and if you need medical treatment, don't be ashamed. Get it.
Once the book came out, then I saw that I was immediately inundated with thousands of other people voicing the same complaints of organized stalking, of directed energy weapons attacks, burning, twitching, severe headaches, blurred vision, as well as hearing the voices of their perpetrators in their head or in their surroundings while they're being attacked.
Wow. Well, let me go down the list of some of these that I came up with. We've got DARPA has a sonic projector that was reported on in 2007. Of course, it had been around for quite some time before then. Army has something they call voice to skull. We've got the Air Force using microwaves to create sounds at Brooks Air Force Base. We've got the Marine Corps with their Medusa project. We've got the State Department, as reported by the Washington Post in 2005, working on voices implanted in people's heads. We've got a couple of companies, one that has patented something called hypersound. That's American Technologies. Has also got Holosonic Research Labs, also has a patented version. So the military-industrial complex has been all over this. when you see something this wide, this is not just one little research project from one organization. And this is something that 5, 10 years ago, it was being reported on in even mainstream press like the Washington Post, and yet nobody knows about this.
Well, the people who follow the internet pretty closely, and certainly the victims of this technology, know about it. But
This is important because there's people that are under attack with this type of technology. And when, it's being labeled the Havana syndrome, right? But there's been no official counter to any of it because they don't know where it's coming from. When I met with people in DC, he goes, well, we have to be real quiet about this, and we don't want the DOD to make a statement about it because they don't know what the hell they're talking about. They don't know who's doing it, and we're doing it. They're doing it to their people. We're doing it to their people, and and it's coming from multiple sources.
Well, and that was used in the field of battle. The Voice of God weapon, which is actually called SQUAD or Silent Sound Spread Spectrum, was used in the first Operation Desert Storm. That was one of those scenarios where 1,500 Iraqi soldiers disassembled their weapons, got to their knees, and surrendered to 150 Marines who didn't have enough slip ties to tie them all together because, and this was admitted, that they used SQUAD to put the voice of Allah in their heads to tell them to surrender.
Wow.
Before that, in the mid to late 80s, 5 separate inmates from the Utah State Prison had written affidavits saying that they were put in solitary confinement and were experimented on with some type of electronic device that put voices in their head, and all of them claimed that they could tell the voices of the people doing the experimentation on them were responding back to their thoughts.
Wow.
So this has been going on for a while. Unfortunately, it's just not gotten any major media coverage until recently.
If you want to cause a specific psychiatric illness, you would have an infrared device that followed the person, and you would link it to a pencil-thin microwave source, so the microwave beam would always target a specific gland or a specific part of the brain or an eye or a heart. So you would have them being targeted. And it was an experiment. One of the experiments was to take an ordinary sane person, cause insanity, and have a psychiatrist who was unknown to everybody diagnose schizophrenia or paranoia or a psychiatric illness. That was a successful outcome. And the person would spend the rest of their life in an asylum in misery, but to the government scientists, that was a success.
Well, it's a guinea pig locked up.
Oh yeah. I mean, humans, the difference between humans are like guinea pigs. If they want to experiment on you, by the thousands, they will. And you can be driven to insanity and death, and you just become a tick in a box without any so much as a feeling. Yeah, and this is what they do, and this is why they are above the law.
Now, talk to us about how you distinguish between something that is artificially being beamed in, voices being beamed into you with this technology, versus somebody who really is schizophrenic.
I'm glad you asked that because I especially being a medical doctor, I don't want to come across as everybody hearing voices is being victimized by technology. Certainly schizophrenia exists. For one, schizophrenia is not quite as common I think, as the press has led people to believe. It's still, severe schizophrenia is still a relatively rare disorder. Most of the victims that I've worked with can pinpoint the day that they started hearing voices and the day that they noticed organized stalking, people following them around from their home to work. Most of the victims that we've had questionnaires filled out on and talked to are in their late 30s to early 40s. Typically, schizophrenics are identified from 18 years old to 28 years old, maybe a little later in females, but almost always at a young age. Typically, those people are described as never having been quite normal. You don't see it in high-functioning, educated individuals who all of a sudden turned 40 years old and acutely became schizophrenic overnight. Also, if you talk to schizophrenics about what they're hearing, typically it's God or angels or deities or garbled voices like you hear in a subway. The people that are being victimized by this technology are hearing the voices of people that are obviously watching them. Oftentimes they'll know the names of these voices because it's a two-way communication system. So they're hearing the people doing the surveillance talk to each other as well as talk to them. Typically, it's their whereabouts in a room is being described, what they're dressed like is being described.
So it's kind of a form of harassment then.
Well, and that's exactly what the loose term for it is, electronic harassment.
So they're not necessarily trying to pretend that they're God. They're just really trying to harass this person and push them over the edge
Exactly.
into doing something. Well, that's interesting. So to sum it up, somebody who has real schizophrenia, it's going to be something that is very early in their life, a consistent pattern behavior from very early in their life. Whereas somebody that is that is having this done to them, they're going to have a sudden onset of that.
Exactly.
So they've been perfectly normal, then somehow, and later in life, all of a sudden, like you said, a switch has been flipped.
Exactly. And we've done surveys on thousands of these victims, and most of them are educated. A lot of them are doctors and lawyers, educated people that were high functioning, that were successful in their careers, and one day started hearing voices, started being stalked, and watched their lives spiral downhill after that. And the other
kind of Democrat. I'm sorry.
Oh, sure. The other thing with schizophrenia is schizophrenia does respond to treatment. You can put schizophrenics on medication and they'll improve. People that are being victimized by this technology, you can put them on any array of the medications used for schizophrenia or delusional disorder, and they still hear the voices. They still get stalked, and they still get attacked.
Wow.
So that when that person goes to speak out about it, when they go to seek help from their fellow human beings, and their fellow human beings say, what is it that's happening to you? The target will then say, I'm hearing voices inside my head.
But these would be controlled hallucinations run by algorithms.
And they will conclude that this person must be crazy. And as a result, they will recommend psychological evaluation for that person. You can see the way this is going to go and the way it is going right now. As good people, helpless people that are being abused and tortured and enslaved and experimented upon in America today, American citizens cry out for help from their fellow Americans, and their fellow Americans say, why don't you take some Prozac because we think you're schizophrenic? Well, this is a highly technical program. All of the symptoms are induced by a technology that is so fucking sophisticated, it is horrifying beyond description. This technology can also tap into the optical nerve of the target and the auditory system of the target, so that those monitoring the target can see what the target is seeing and hear what the target is hearing. This information is then downloaded and stored on a computer in a highly secure, classified site on servers that are guarded by some of the tightest security in the world.
There's people on the Hill right now that have testified in Congress about the use of neurostrike weapons on the brain in targeted individuals. This is a legitimate complaint because the first lawsuit in history against targeted individuals was filed by Anna Toledo, the attorney in Texas. This is related to all of this because remember, to perfect weaponry or perfect a system, you need to test it. And a lot of these systems and weapons are being tested on the public unbeknownst to them.
The way the technology works, the voice to skull, is to tap into the resonant frequency of the DNA of the individual, the targeted individual. And this allows total mind, spirit, and body control over the individual by those who are running this program. Since I saw on a daily basis how intimately involved in this program of voice to skull social engineering and game stalking my private security company was, I couldn't help but notice that our client, one of the largest corporations in America and indeed the world, just happened to have a massive database of DNA on its property. A DNA database that stores the DNA of millions of Americans. Their emotions, their thoughts, their minds, their heartbeat, their muscle movements, their dreams, their thoughts. Everything they see and everything they hear is all recorded and manipulated by this technology. And all of this is made possible by the people running this program utilizing the technology to tap into the resonant frequency of the individual's DNA.
So they can broadcast this from a satellite, a tower, over many, many miles. And yet only that particular person, the targeted individual with that particular physiological signature or DNA signature, will actually pick up the sent message, correct?
That is correct. The digital receiver is the human brain. Okay, so you could be standing in a room full of 100 people. The stream of energy, the stream of electromagnetic
Hits everyone, but you're the only one who gets it. That's what I was saying, yeah.
It would pass right through and around everyone, and they would not even sense anything. But the victim would absorb the energy and feel its effects, because only the victim possesses that specific brainwave signature, which the stream of energy is tuned into. The supercomputer begins to monitor all electromagnetic activity of the victim's brain by way of this bidirectional stream of energy. And it begins to monitor and download all that information back into its database. The supercomputers are designed to clone, to download one's entire persona and psyche back into its database.
Because of my responsibilities in surveillance as a otherwise normal security specialist, I was showed this technology at work. And it was through the perspective, of course, of the camera, and what I was told that it was obviously being used through the eyes of the target. So I have seen it, and it is absolutely remarkable. It's just like a first-person, video game or something where you see right through the eyes of the individual.
When we look through our eyes, there are photons hitting the outside of our face. They don't actually make it into the part that thinks. The part that thinks is looking at something else. It's looking at some kind of weird compressed signal.
Basically, those optical signals are interpreted by the brain, and then you perceive them as vision. You perceive them as pictures and so forth, but this is all electrical signals within the brain. And so the exact same thing, the data is taken in through the eyes, and then your brain renders it in a visual form that we know as sight. The exact same thing happens with the computer. The data is sent to the computer, and then it is rendered in the form of a picture that people can look at.
I work with a consortium of scientists called the Mind Hacking Strategy Group, and we report the abuses of science to the public. A lot of this is top secret technologies that the general public isn't aware of. And in particular, we focus on mind control technologies. I've recently published a book with these guys titled Project Soul Catcher, and it's Secrets of Cyber and Cybernetic Warfare. The framework that's being used in a lot of these human experiments on the public is that of computer science hacking, hacking into individual minds or a population. Cybernetics means the art of steering and control. So mind control is the focus of a lot of my research. I've interviewed over 650 people that have been subjected to these new types of technologies, and it's quite incredible. This is really the most important advancement humankind has made. The technologies can be used for good or evil, but in this case, right now we see the militarized applications, the weaponized applications of it, but it will change the world far more than the internet, cars, or penicillin combined. This is a major technological paradigm shift of how humans view themselves. There's definitely a pattern that each target goes through, and so it's important to divulge those. There's a lot of trickery involved. The art of war is really the art of deception. There's one colonel that said, you can find to Dr. Freud, you can find a way to pipe voices into people's heads. I will find a way to talk them to the gut. So they've been thinking about this for a long time, and it involves a lot of different sciences. It's fascinating. The scale of this involves a lot of artificial intelligence. The signal processing and sensor technologies are amazingly complex. So one can really spend a lifetime researching this, both from the victim standpoint, the perception, as well as on the technological standpoint. The research from our team has shown the beginnings of it all the way back before World War II. But the very first case that we tracked back these mind control technologies was 1959. And then there seemed to be a huge increase in 1976 of reported cases as the worldwide system came online. And then it's been growing since. The number of people that are claiming that they're being grabbed for human experimentation and mind control specifically. And the last year, in line with Department of Defense budgets. So the more money they have, more projects they can run and test and improve the efficacy of the weapon system. If you can do it wirelessly without EDG probes, then you literally can control every human with a nervous system on Earth, and even other animals with nervous systems. And so it's considered one of the most coveted weapon systems, where it has downwind lethality, take control of the enemy spots, and opinions. You can use it on your own population to control voting and mass opinion. It has a very wide range of applications that they're researching. And I think the reason that really Dr. John Hall and myself do a lot of radio shows is just to help the public become more informed. What are these technologies, that they really exist, and that the U.S. government has a long history of using humans in experimentation. The human consciousness has been deciphered on the most part, and this opens Pandora's box in a lot of ways. One of the weapon systems called Satan stands for Silent Assassination Through Dapping Networks, and these are neural networks. They used to be, it came out of the CIA's programs on MK-Ultra behavior modification. Now, you can just simply cause pain in a person when correlated with some action. Well, you can alter behavior, but they've taken us many steps past that. They can replay very specific pains into a person. So you can imagine an MP3 player that has recorded brainwaves of pains of people being shot, burned, and other kinds of tortures. You can literally replay those into the enemy's mind. Full mind melding, in a sense. It's a great interrogation tool. So if you saw a movie called Inception, and that's where they try to get into the person's head, plant ideas, pull out information. That's all exactly where the technology's at. It has a lot of downfalls that, it doesn't work well with some people, and that's why they're trying to improve it.
So you're dealing with a system of remote neural networks. That's what's targeting you, okay? Remote neural networks, okay, with a will, intellect, and emotion of their own. The system, the RNN supercomputer that's targeting you, okay, that uses one of these three relay stations, the tower, satellite, or mobile platform, it actually locks on to your emotional state. Once the cognitive model, this generic model is built, it begins to lock on to your emotional state, okay? And then it begins to not just to monitor, but to manipulate that emotional state. They need to map out all 7 vectors of the emotional state of the victim in order to create this cognitive model, this reverse engineered will, intellect, and emotion. That's your human soul, by the way, okay? The human soul is the will, intellect, and emotion of the victim. They figured out what to do with the human body. The 5 senses, they can pretty much achieve whatever they want by manipulation of the human anatomy with mind control technologies. Now they're going after the soul, the will, intellect, and emotion.
We all know that the government is into controlling it, right? And whatever they can use. And they've had very, very simple ways to control us in the past. I mean, they've got the media, they've got schools, they've got the income tax system. Everything that the government is doing is targeted towards controlling us. So, of course, they're going to have every branch of government working on this type of thing, because that gives them very precise control over what we're doing.
Well, and with the new revelations coming out about the NSA, 10 years ago when I first started writing about some of this and getting into this type of science, it did seem sci-fi and it did seem far-fetched to a lot of people, especially a lot of people thought the brain was too complex to manipulate that way. Since some of Snowden's leaked records about the NSA, Most of us already knew that the NSA was listening to our phone calls.
And we were accused of being paranoid.
Yeah, and exactly.
Right. So now we're accused of being schizophrenic if we hear voices, but we know that there's some reality of that.
But it's not too far of a stretch if they have computers big enough to collect all the data on our text, on our cell, and on our emails. And then it came to light that they admitted that several NSA agents were using NSA technology to target love interest. And it was happening so frequently that instead of HUMINT for humans intelligence or SIGINT for signals intelligence, that they actually have one that they refer to as LOVEINT. And these were agents that were actually targeting either girls they saw or met that wanted to watch them, or ex-spouses or current spouses with NSA technology. And it's happening frequent enough that it's called LOVEINT.
Well, it's always like any technology. It can be used for good or it can be used for evil. I don't know if there's any good use for putting voices in people's heads, but certainly what this reveals is the dark side of people that are involved in this, and we've seen this in the past.
The CIA claims torture works. No-touch torture is a whole new topic, a whole new category. Most people don't believe it's happening. You'd be tortured in your own home. No one will believe you. But this is torture, and I want there to be no doubt about it. This is torture, destruction of life, and a destruction to misery for all these people, for the innocent Americans. And it's a war crime. It's a crime against humanity for sure. They're trying to grasp all sorts of data from how effective can we make them kill each other themselves? How do you make a rational player go down to walk them to their death? The first logical thing they do is go to the police. Well, the police can't help you. They're going to give you a lockup and 72 hours in a psych ward.
One of the men behind the technology admits he created a monster. Dr. Robert Duncan put together the technology that allows the government to transmit thoughts and voices into the heads of Americans.
I've worked on projects for the CIA, Justice Department, Department of Defense.
So you know for a fact that these weapons that you worked on, they're being used domestically today?
Absolutely.
Are there citizens of this country that are being abused with this technology?
Worse than abused, that's a light word. They are being tortured. They easily could be broadcasting across the country messages to people and causing them extreme pain.
We've run into a few people that claim they got voices in their head. When they talk to us, they seem totally normal. Are these people crazy, or is the government doing this to them?
The government's doing this to them. They're called voice of God weapons.
So the targeted individuals aren't crazy after all.
These are people within our government at a certain level making these decisions, and they're not necessarily our president or our elected officials.
That's exactly right. They can't be removed, and they're difficult to find. They hide in the dark crevices of our government.
These technologies that are being torturing people around the world, these type of weapons can make you kill yourself or others. They hide it in their news broadcasts. Oh, he's just crazy. They don't go any deeper. The colonel said, you can pipe voices in someone's head. I will find a way to talk them to their death.
To eventually achieve direct behavioral control over you. And then based on, that cognitive model being complete, to begin to be able to predict and influence in advance the reference choices of the victim during thought composition. As the victim is formulating his thoughts and preparing to act, the supercomputer already has that persona inside you, all your emotional state downloaded, every vector of your emotional state downloaded, so I can already predict and influence those events in your life in advance and achieve direct behavioral control over you.
And they had created a digital model of Earth and everybody in it, down to a digital GPS coordinates model up to even a vertical dimension of 1.5 centimeters, every building, every roadway, everything. And what they want to do is create an Internet of Things where in digital space they know exactly what you're doing in real time. They want to know in real time what shows you're watching, what sandwich you're eating, what part of the house you're walking around. They want to know everything.
Where they are literally just seeing what it's like for someone to eat a sandwich, what it's like, the emotional response and the brain activity when someone is insulted, when someone gets loved, when someone interacts with someone, all of these different aspects of the human experience. So that my original thought was that they are using it to be able to program the technology itself.
Robots the smartest people. Artificial intelligence, AI. The idea is to port the software from the human brain.
So what you've heard about AI is not what we mean by AI. What we mean by AI is a software system that can do literally anything that a human can do. Literally anything.
In fact, the very nature of the research and development program that is going on in Seattle, Washington, and I think by extension what's being done to TIs around the country is very largely geared towards the monitoring of human beings for the specific purpose of recording every aspect of human existence, to monitor our thoughts, to monitor our emotions and our feelings, to inform computer software that is used on robots, that is used on computers themselves, to make them as human-like as possible.
And obviously, computers are better at things than people in lots of different ways.
The very concept of free will is destroyed. We've been debating this for thousands of years, and to have that argument finalized, well, all of Western philosophy, and from crime and punishment to religion, relies on this concept of free will. They can't just announce it and then say, oh, by the way, we've been running torture experiments on people all around the world. There is a weapon system discussed in my book called Satan, and it stands for Silence is Fascination Through Adapting Networks. So you can imagine all the, you have a behavioral modification tool, weapon. You can have dial-in lethality simply by manipulating the humans themselves to hurt themselves. And it uses all the best medical discoveries except in the negative. You know, fire can be used to keep people warm and heat food, kill bacteria, or it can be used to burn down villages.
And the European soldiers, the Germans, experimenting. The Nuremberg Treaty was set up, and it's very defined and very succinct. And it says that no person may be experimented upon for any reason, and this includes microwave irradiation, for any reason without their consent. And before they give their consent, they must have full knowledge of the length of the experiment, the outcomes, any potential dangers, any potential ill healths. It must be fully understood and explained, and they must give individual consent. So experiments on people, service personnel, the police officers with Tetra, microwaves, it is all illegal according to the Nuremberg Treaty.
As far as I know, the Nuremberg Code and the Nuremberg Treaty was created after the Nuremberg trials.
Right, yep.
And in the Nuremberg trials there was a specific trial called the doctors' trials.
Yep.
Do you recall the sentencing of those trials?
They were hanged.
Yeah.
Oh, and I've written it. I've written it in my papers, and I've said it on air in the radio. In fact, I said it, I was on international radio. It went out to 95 countries 2 Sundays ago. And I said, scientists at the end of the war were hanged for what scientists today are doing and getting away with. Absolutely, yep.
Sentences you to death by hanging at such time and place as higher authority may direct.
generation computer startup company is based here in Halford, Washington. It is a project which builds on the recent advances of neural mapping of the human brain, and its intent is to directly, electromagnetically communicate with the brain, dispatching messages to soldiers in the field instantly. This required a computer which could think like a human brain and understand it analytically. So an experimental neural network processor was chosen.
A truly cognitive computer that could perform parallel functions 1,000,000 times faster than the human brain, capable of monitoring hundreds, even thousands of subjects simultaneously. And we found a way to deploy its analog thoughts and to transmit them instantly via small microwave towers.
The computer has designated some of the minds it is interfaced with as unresponsive, reminding us again and again, no matter how much we insist it's beyond its protocol tasking.
Hi, Scott. You coming back today?
I should be home tomorrow. Honey, if for some reason I'm not,
What do you mean? Why wouldn't you be home?
there's something strange going on here and I have to stop it. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
I've been watching you, Scott. It's nice to talk to you directly, man to man, as it were.
I'm not gonna let you get to me.
Soon, I won't need to communicate with you like this. I'll be in your mind before you know it. We dealt with your friend. Now it's your turn.
Stay away from me!
Don't fight me, Scott. You can't. Peter tried and failed, and he understood me. At least he thought he did.
I've made this town better, these people better, more contented, safe from harm. I won't let you compromise that safety.
Stay away from me!
Hello. God bless you. Hello. Hi. How are you? Hey, you're scaring my dad. You're scaring my people. You hear me? You hear what I'm saying? God bless you. Leave me alone.
So I got calls from 2 different people on Facebook that are friends of yours, and they're concerned that you might hurt yourself or someone. They said that you're posting that you're married to Shia LaBeouf.
I'm not married to the clone Shia LaBeouf. There's someone that's had their identity stolen named Shia LaBeouf. I'm not posting, and I repeatedly say on the internet that I'm not posting to people in regards to Shia LaBeouf, the clone, or the celebrity. I'm not.
They said there was something about you.
They're trying to illegally frame me.
With him or something.
No, I never said that. They're trying to illegally frame me and get me in trouble because they're trying to criminally frame me and saying that I'm harassing the celebrity. I'm not harassing the celebrity. I'm not. There's something very strange going on where my DNA was stolen. My mother, Deanna, sold my DNA in Los Angeles, and something happened with my DNA, something happened with my husband's DNA, and we're in a very dangerous situation. His name is Shia LaBeouf. It's not the celebrity name Shia LaBeouf. People are getting confused.
So the only thing I need to be concerned about is, are you thinking about hurting yourself?
No, I am
or
not.
Anyone else?
I am not thinking about hurting anybody. I'm not
Or
thinking
yourself
about hurting anyone. I'm not thinking about hurting myself. I am in a lot of danger. I'm trying to. I told you I've reported reports in regards to people attempting to try to hurt me and possibly not make me be alive. There's a ton of things that's happening in regards to the crime that's happening to me, but besides that, no. These people that are reporting are trying to illegally frame me as talking to the celebrity. I'm not talking to the celebrity. It has nothing to do with the celebrity, Shia LaBeouf.
All right, that's all I needed to make sure you're not thinking of hurting yourself.
No, I'm
or
not.
anyone. All right, well, thanks for talking to me then.
Thank you very much.
All right, have a good night.
You too. I'm very, very scared, Shia, about what's going on with this criminal that has been, these past 6 months, stalking, attempting to break into both my parents' house, breaking into my parents' house. I'm very, very scared, Shia. I'm very, very shocked. I can't believe this. I guess I just can't have the feeling of being prepared. I'm trying to mentally prepare myself for an attack. However, it's like I'm always I'm always on guard and nervous, but I'm feeling like I'd be caught off guard, and somehow this criminal's going to. What I'm most concerned of is property theft and car damage, so that I can't be where I need to be. But I'm very, very scared, Shia. Obviously, I'm scared of this criminal breaking in also while I'm sleeping. That's very, very scary. So I'm very, very happy I got the window alarm, Shia. And I'm taping all of it. I'm taping here and here so I can know if the doors have been opened on all 4 doors. And the trunk, I'm taping the trunk on the outside of the trunk. Hi Shia, it's June 15, 2026, 2:18 p.m. So I took screenshots of the criminal hacker editing my post and changing the words. And completely changing the words, completely changing the grammar. And then I edit the post and put it back the way it's supposed to be. And recite the Quran. Okay, Shia, I'm not. Someone's trying to talk through me right now. I wear this large winter coat upstairs while I get breakfast because it somehow feels like it's protecting my body while I'm getting tortured. When I go in the kitchen, they're giving me edge torture right now. And obviously I have to look once again like... What is going on? There's some kind of fair, conference, event.
This sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, but it really happened. The CIA's top secret experiments that sought to gain control over people's minds. Fox News' Mike Emanuel has the story.
This hearing is about the crimes committed by the Central Intelligence Agency against the American citizens and the decades of secrecy used to conceal them.
Congress shining a spotlight on one of the most notorious chapters in the history of the CIA. MK Ultra sees research and experiments in the 50s and 60s with mind control.
MK Ultra was one of the most secret government programs in American history.
The ability to seize the control of a person's perceptions, memories, and ultimately their behavior.
Historian Stephen Kinzer says the CIA chemists behind the operation sought out, quote, expendables in foreign countries to use for experiments.
Human beings who would not be missed if they disappeared. What amounted to a license to kill issued by the U.S. government.
Journalist Tom O'Neill even looked into whether MKUltra could have played a role in the Charles Manson murders.
How had Manson, a barely literate ex-con, acquired the ability to persuade ordinary young people to murder complete strangers simply because he had told them to?
Kinzer says the U.S. was willing to do anything it could to gain an upper hand during the Cold War. Ultimately, the CIA labeled MKUltra a failure, but that may not be the end of the story.
It may well have been true in 1963 that mind control is a myth. But whether it's still true is uncertain.
The program officially came to a close in the 1970s, and the files associated with it destroyed. But whether or not it really ended then and there, well, that depends on who you ask.
When did you first experience being stalked and targeted like this?
The first time I experienced it is when I was walking down the road. People started to follow me.
Because if you're a TI, you're in an assassination program.
It's like a worst nightmare that you know you end up waking up from.
Trying to explain this in a way that's understandable.
I've got moving implants attached to my skeleton, enabling me to be controlled remotely.
Beyond point one is unsafe.
I've got stuff in my body because I've had beeps going off inside my head.
Any normal person would go, are you all right? Do you know what I mean? Are you sure that you're feeling all right? Because you're talking crazy.
An estimated 10,000 people around the world are all reporting the exact same terrifying experience.
Electronic harassment, synthetic telepathy, voice-to-skull technology. Chances are you haven't heard of these terms, but after searching the internet, I found dozens of websites dedicated to the phenomenon, residents who say they're victims.
We are TIs, targeted individuals.
They say they're being monitored, manipulated, and even tortured.
This is not a joke. This is not science fiction.
Because people know nothing about mind control. They don't know that your thoughts can be changed.
Through the internet, they've validated each other's experiences, and a community has formed.
We're not having a group hallucination. This is actually something that's happening.
They call themselves targeted individuals.
This is a death camp. This is a concentration camp.
I will expose you one day. I don't care who you are or who you think you are or who you're connected to.
People don't even realize. People will never realize until it's too late.
Where would you like me to take you?
So we're going to the Bouverie Conference Hall. This is a major UK event organized by Britain's leading targeted individual, Kieran. It features other groups who are highlighting the abuse of covert technology.
Okay.
A lot of them complain about apparently finding things inside their bodies, like implants and bits of technology. What do you think?
I think it's a little bit of science fiction, and perhaps they've seen one or two Bourne trilogies too many.
Day one, take one. I'm standing here today because the person who should be standing here has been murdered. Max Spiers was part of a program of extremely secret enhanced human beings. This involves involuntary use of implants, and we have another gentleman here in this room called Kieran Lee Perrin. Kieran Lee Perrin is part of the British Targeted Individuals program. He's got implants inside his head. These are things you can actually see and measure. Lots and lots and lots of people now have these implants in their head. But if we do not engage this problem, we as humans are finished.
Max Spiers had died just a few weeks before the conference, and that created a ripple of anxiety throughout the community.
And I just made that up myself.
You did?
Yeah, that's right.
You said it before when we were speaking on the phone, that the truth movement is gaining ground, and you've seen that, and that inspired you to hopefully get back involved again, I hope, Dave. If a TI on his own as an individual approaches authority, they're easy to dismiss. But if there's multiples of them, it's a lot more difficult.
At this stage, we've heard a lot of talk about what a targeted individual is. I mean, everyone's heard someone make a string of unbelievable statements like that. But when you hear that person say it, and then you look around and you're in a room with 60 other people all nodding in agreement, that
is a weird feeling.
Miles Johnston, the head of the conference, broadcasts videos about targeting to millions of viewers worldwide.
Hello, hey, and welcome. This is my little studio. The whole point about this place is to when I interview people, not have a whole lot of tripods and cables and things. So I decided to put this thing up here, which is solid. I'm also an archiver, so I have a lot of stuff on audio reel. So we'll, but this is just only a laptop, and there's our TV studio.
Do you think that so many people would think that they were targeted if they hadn't seen your stuff through the internet?
Remember, these are people who have had very strange experiences in their lives. The proof is now coming through with MRI scans. That's physical, tangible results and evidence.
How many views do your videos get?
I think I'm 13 million or something.
So what are you setting up for now?
I'm setting up to do a quick fast blast based on the latest information I've got about Max. A lot of the people I've interviewed in bases over the last 20 years, very terrible things have subsequently happened to them because what they're talking about is real, it's dangerous, people's lives are affected, and people die in this thing.
Max was a major figure in the targeted community, and he was recently found dead in a villa in Warsaw. He was 39 and had no known health conditions, but a Polish doctor pronounced him dead of natural causes. But the targeted individual community believed that because of what he knew, Max was assassinated.
Death as a bloody lamppost.
Miles took it upon himself to keep everyone informed about the ongoing investigation.
There's a major problem as to the time of death of Max Spiers. Max's mother feels that she's been stonewalled and effectively blocked from really finding out what happened to Max. Gone, but not forgotten.
Another well-known target Miles has interviewed regularly is Kieran Lee Perrin.
Hey, Kieran. How's it going? Good to see you too. Hey, how's it going? Were you taking for a walk?
Yeah, they're due. If someone's being targeted, if they possibly can, is to get a dog or something like that. It enables you to maintain routine.
So are you yourself a targeted individual?
Oh, yes.
What does that mean?
Well, it's a very broad statement these days. Some people that I'm dealing with, they deal with gang stalking predominantly, manipulation of their lives by others. The ones at the more extreme end, like myself, we're dealing with technological manipulation, which is V2K, voice-to-skull technology.
Wow, okay.
So I can be communicated with in my head.
What does that feel like? Are you hearing voices inside your head?
Yeah, sometimes it's like that. It's literally a loud voice. I mean, it's in some scientific journals described as the voice of God technology. Phoebe, what's wrong with this? Oh, I see. They're in season. Phoebe, I know that they're in season.
I come and say hi to you, but because you're in the middle of something.
I am a mind control target.
Oh, I see.
So I've got ICT implants in my head.
Okay.
You've known me for years now. It's why I don't work. It's why I'm always walking around the park. They've been giving me money for years. And it was government doctors that examined me and saw my scans and said, you're telling the truth, but don't ever come back here again. And they gave me a flat and some money, but nobody will talk to me.
Have you ever encountered this sort of thing before with anyone?
No, I hope I don't.
It's done via satellite. It's done via satellites.
Oh, okay.
True.
And then they're gathering
It's
data,
going up globally. I can be hooked up to a wireless network too. It's military technology.
So are you being controlled?
I can be, yeah.
Oh, okay. So who's controlling you then?
That's a $64,000 question. We have the answers to all that. At its core, it will be military, but there are lots of corporate companies involved as well.
I thought it only exists in the film, but...
Yeah, well, that's why they make films about it, so people think that.
Yeah, I'll let you get on with your work then.
Yeah, I'll see you soon. Thanks very much. Bye.
It was difficult for me to believe the things Kieran was saying, but he was saying them with such certainty that questioning him felt uncomfortable.
So what's on this USB?
Several frames of the MRI scans I had done from 2 machines.
So this is your brain?
Yeah.
And what are we looking at?
The implants here. The ICT implants here. In the red boxes, essentially, and that's them blown up.
Have you had a doctor look at these?
Oh, yeah. My dentist, who's PhD level educated, he just said, look, you don't need any medical training whatsoever to see that these are foreign bodies.
Okay.
That's the real game changer, that probe. And you can see the fragments of another one which has been broken.
And have you ruled out every other possibility before thinking that they might be implants?
Absolutely. I've used all this stuff in defending myself in official situations. The reports I've got on both MRI scans say there are no abnormalities showing. They were trying to discredit me, saying that I needed psychiatric treatment, and they were covering it up.
What's this?
Now, this is to show you the implant that was removed.
Is this something that's come from a targeted individual's body?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. So, did the targeting stop when he got this chunk of flesh removed?
No.
Do you have any plans to get your implants removed?
I've been trying. Look at the top of my back, by the way. Can you see it?
What are we looking for?
These lumps.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had to operate on that on myself and my ear as well. Doctors refused to operate on me, so I did it in my bathroom with scalpels and 2 mirrors.
Sounds pretty dangerous.
Well, I got a piece of wood, put it between my teeth, and I sliced them off. But take this on board. Look at my mouth. Can you see on this one? There's a round cylindrical thing, and he said, "Look, that is totally unnatural. A drill does not make round cylindrical things. It looks to me as though you've got something under that filling." Which again is quite possibly a microphone.
So how else do you sort of show people that these implants are real?
Well, my doctor, for instance, as I mentioned earlier, I allowed him to palpate them with his fingers at the back of my mouth. I could have you do it now.
Yeah, sure.
Like that. Do it like that.
Okay, in the name of journalism. I'm not...
hang on. You need to press the gun.
Okay. So both fingers at the same time? Okay.
Good thinking. Let's try one.
Let's do one at a time. I'm not feeling anything. Yeah, it's something. There's something hard in there.
Try again.
I feel something there, definitely.
Press hard.
Okay. I don't want to hurt you.
Right.
That right there. That thing right there.
Yeah. That's an implant. I will go to a surgeon and be opened up, but I need a surgeon. I'm not going to let a car mechanic, start opening me up.
Has there ever been a moment where you thought maybe this isn't real?
What do you mean?
Like, has there ever been a moment where you thought that you believed the people who said, this isn't true, I don't believe you?
Well, I don't have that problem now.
Why not?
Because everybody believes me.
Is that because you found a community of people who are also targeted? That you've found a
No, it's because of their scams. I wish I was mad. I wish I had a mental illness. I do. I wish I was psychotic. I wish I was bipolar. I wish I was anything, because I could get treatment for that. For this, I can't. Polar. It's because of their scams. I wish I was mad. I wish I had a mental illness. I do. I wish I was psychotic. I wish I was bipolar. I wish I was anything, because I could get treatment for that. For this, I can't. I wish I had a mental illness. They're scams. I wish I was mad. I wish I had a mental illness. I do. I wish I was psychotic. I wish I was bipolar. I wish I was anything, because I could get treatment for that. For this, I can't. No, it's because of their scams. I wish I was mad. I wish I had a mental illness. I do. I wish I was psychotic. I wish I was bipolar. I wish I was anything, because I could get treatment for that. For this, I can't.
That was one of the weirdest things I've ever done in my life. I mean...
I do. I wish I was psychotic. I wish I was bipolar. I wish I was anything, because I could get treatment for that. For this, I can't.
That was one of the weirdest things I've ever done in my life. I mean, I put my index finger... That was...
It was anything, because I could get treatment for that. For this, I can't.
That was one of the weirdest things I've ever done in my life. I mean, I put my index finger all the way into his mouth to feel the back of his molars.
We met another target at the conference called Fiona, who attempted to avoid targeting by keeping on the move. She was about to move again because she believed a directed energy weapon was being beamed at her friend's apartment.
Tin foil hat people wear these. It does help a little bit, but it's just short-lived. This is the most important thing. This cost me $1,300, but it's well worth it because it's kept me alive.
So do you carry this around with you?
Yeah, everywhere.
You must have really
everywhere.
strong muscles.
And
from
every
carrying-
time at customs they say, "Come open your bag, madam." They know me. They say, "Oh, it's you again with the lead," and they all laugh. And I tell the customs, I say, "Yes, I'm a targeted individual," and they say, "Oh yeah, yeah." But
So it helps you to just be directly underneath this. Do you sleep in it?
directly, yes, I sleep with it. I sleep with it. And in fact, I'm feeling a bit better now, but it's my head that's the important things. But yeah, I sleep, and if I'm on the ground with this over me, I'm really good. Because whatever comes through this, I can ground it. But up on the second floor here, it's difficult. Well, if I'm moving, walking through London, I'm sort of okay. Moving is the best thing, because whatever's focused at me, it has to keep trying to catch up with me.
What are these?
The thyroid is very susceptible to being damaged by radiation. And this, again, is my very glamorous nightwear. Balaclava, sled, but it protects the head a lot. And occasionally I have fallen asleep on a bed without these because I've been so exhausted, and I wake up an hour later and it's not pretty, so I do always remember. I'm really not coming across very well. I'd be better off downstairs talking outside.
Yeah. All right, let's head downstairs then.
I wouldn't normally sleep in a house on the second floor.
Ever think it might be easier if you stayed in one place?
Yes, I would like to, but you know, you can't function. Can I sit in the sun over there?
Yeah, of course.
Once you're on the hit list, and once you know a few things, and especially if you talk, you know, it's not likely that they're going to say, "Oh, let's let Fiona off. She's had enough suffering."
So who are they?
Don't even know if it's people. I just know. How could I know? I just know that there is electromagnetic radiation being beamed at me, and I'm followed.
Really?
I saw a doctor yesterday to have this implant removed. This is only a couple of years ago. It's state-of-the-art nanotech, because even though I would still be targeted without this, it's just not very nice having every move tracked, you know?
Can we go see the lockup that you've been staying at recently? Shall we?
It's been a great learning experience for me, because I was kind of a nice middle-class girl, went to Cambridge University, and I've really been thrust into experience things that I wouldn't have ordinarily. So you have to put your life first and do what it takes. So I don't say to them I'm sleeping in the lockup. I tell them I'm just storing my stuff there. But I mean, it's not harming anyone, is it? So I feel okay about it. But it works out at £5 something a night, so it's a cheap bed and breakfast in London. So it's here. So I'm so grateful for this. But now something's been beamed at it, so I can't stay here any longer. I'll feel it in a couple of minutes. So I was sleeping diagonally. There's my sleeping bag and my duvet.
If you go inside there, will you experience the targeting?
No, it's just all around here. It's not that specific. It's all around.
Really, so it's this whole area, the whole storage facility.
I get really agitated. If I'm clean, if I've had a clay bath and I'm feeling good, and I come here, I'll notice it straight away. But because I've just come out of that other place, I don't notice it so much. But I won't stay around to hang out to find out.
Fiona's life on the run seemed to have forced her into a solitary world. Kieran, on the other hand, had targeted friends, and he wanted me to meet one of them.
Hello, mate. How you doing?
2.2 miles away, traffic traffic, mate.
Alright, dude, give us a ding when you get here.
Right, yeah, no worries.
Take it easy. Bye.
Who's he?
He's another TI. I call him Magnetron, actually, because he can stick magnets to himself all over the place.
Oh, really?
You know, he really can. He's his entire person. You ain't going to believe this. I've only got to lock myself out.
There's quite a difference between the harassment that Kieran and I go through, especially when it comes down to the V2K side of stuff. It's everything from that I've experienced and still experience on a daily basis is very negative.
How would you describe what's happening to you right now?
Right this second?
Yeah.
Normal, everything's fine. Get in there, mate.
Sorry?
You managed to get in?
I went up the scaffolding and got in the back of the kitchen window, so I had to climb up. But,
Which way are we going, Kieran?
You turn around or go to the end. We're in the one-way systems.
Yeah, it's a crazy world. It's a crazy world for us survivors.
Oh, it certainly is indeed, yeah.
It makes what happened in the Second World War look like a tin pot. Nothing.
Like a picnic.
And there was millions died. Do you know what I mean? This is a no-touch torture program.
Without any shadow of a doubt.
There's no question. Many times tried to get me to murder my mother, members of my family, to take me out from society.
To get you thrown in jail?
Yeah.
Or a psych ward or
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like that.
yeah. Left or right, Kieran?
Right, mate.
Yeah. Oh, look, there's another one. This is what happens. Visual presence of police. Because they're the ones that actually maintain the daily running of the programme.
I've had a helicopter hovering over my head for 10 minutes with a spotlight on me. Hang her right in here, yeah, and we can turn around and come back this way, can't we?
I just had the operator telling me to stop talking to you.
I know, I'm sorry, mate, you're talking and I'm telling you to turn right.
No, I just had my V2K operator. I'm talking about the V2K, Kieran.
Right.
Well, someone's just told you to stop talking to Kieran.
No, to stop talking to you.
Oh, to me?
Yeah.
Are you going to listen to them?
I never listen to them. Do you really want to know what he just said?
What?
Go fuck himself.
Go fuck myself?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. And they're very rude. Yeah.
Because they can be. It's some dickhead sitting in a little tech room that thinks he's playing God. There's double yellows, but I'm going to park here anyway. To any normal Jim Bob on the street, this is crazy talk.
Yeah.
Absolutely, unbelievably crazy. But the thing is that we're not crazy. And that's the proof. I mean, we can prove that we're not crazy. There you go, there's my admission for treatment paperwork. They kept me locked up on a section for 2.5 months.
What was that like?
It was horrendous. This is not an illness.
This is not an illness. You are not dealing with a patient who has a biological mental illness.
That's basically what we are. We're test subjects for a transhumanist
agenda.
globalist
And the medical establishment,
Agenda
of course, is in
21.
on it.
I mean, we can't phone the police because they're involved.
Exactly. Well
we,
said,
we can't get the local MPs involved because they're involved. We can't get the government involved because they're involved. We're supposed to call the Ghostbusters.
Nowhere to go.
What did they say you had done to get you in there in the first place?
They said that they found me digging in the earth and screaming in the sky.
Did you do anything?
No, I was walking the dog.
Does knowing that you're targeted give you ammunition to fight back against these
Most certainly,
forces?
yeah. Once you actually discover the targeting program, it's a global phenomenon. It actually empowers you. It's hundreds of thousands of people all going through exactly the same program.
One target put it to me, she says, many a great friendship has been forged in concentration camps.
Shane and Kieran were aware that their experiences have many similarities to the symptoms of psychosis, but they were quick to assert their sanity. They wanted to prove they were victims of mind control.
An emergency 2-person thermal tent sets up in minutes. Well, we're going to look very silly if it takes us half an hour. If I'm getting microwaved heavily and I can whip this out, set it up and crawl in it, I'll sleep there as opposed to in my bed, really. You know, even if I'm travelling, I can take this with me because I was hammered in Spain.
Kieran and Shane had decided to try to get another scan in order to persuade their doctors of their implants.
When we go into that scanning device, I want to be on that screen, mate. I want to be watching that screen, and I want to watch you go into that, so I know that is you in there. Because there's no trust. We've got no trust.
Yeah, I know.
Kieran and Shane continued seeking further evidence, even though they believed it was making their targeting worse. Meanwhile, Fiona's only concern seemed to be trying to reduce her symptoms.
Luckily, through word of mouth, I got to find out that there was an open-minded doctor who did minor surgery. He just numbed my finger. This is obviously very small. I did have a diagnostic X-ray of it a while ago in France, and nothing's visible, so it's obviously nanotechnology, which is pretty obvious anyway, because this is very recent. So there's not much to see. Scar was here, and he's just gouged out stuff, but he gave me a local anaesthetic. It didn't hurt at all. What came out? Well, I asked That's, I guess, my blood and bits and bobs, and you can't see anything, but he's pretty sure that he got all that out. So in that is what was in my finger. Yeah, I don't know what to do with it, but I'll try and get it somewhere where I'm not going. What I've got to be careful of now is, because I'm sleeping in a truck, I've got to be careful that I can lock the truck from the inside. You know, this is obviously a useful tracking device. But I thought it might be a bit tricky to find somebody, because you have to be careful who you speak to. I don't want to be carted away to a mental asylum.
There was no better proof of the community's conviction than how far they were willing to go to try to make themselves feel better. Miles had continued to post updates about Max's death, and this quickly became a source of unrest in the community.
So what's your website called?
Chronicles of a Mind Control Target. But yes, this was a post about Miles. TIs were up in arms about this. I cannot sit and watch that man talk about Max Spiers anymore. He's actually stating that Max was murdered. Do we know Max was murdered yet?
So what do you think happened to Max then?
Because Max was a TI, he could have been taken out remotely via technological means. That is easy. They do it all the time.
How would that work?
Well, they could induce a heart attack, for instance. This is well known. This has been going on. They've had guns that do that since the 1950s, I believe.
What about that interview where his voice started changing?
Didn't he die shortly after this? Same day or something?
It looked like someone was attacking you. I really feel that I know what happened to me, and because I know what happened, I have a great deal of shame. So what do you feel now in your throat?
No. No, I haven't watched that. I think I've watched some of the beginning of it, but it's not pleasant, is it? That sounded like somebody who was dying. Did it not? It did. Max was a TI. Max was targeted. The killing us.
The investigation into Max's death was still inconclusive 8 months after it happened. But to the community, this was just another cover-up. Max was assassinated.
Hey.
Shane,
How you doing?
Good. How are you? How are you feeling?
Today, very tired, very nauseous, but that's been the case since the last interview.
Really?
Everything's been cranked right up because it... Do you want to shut the door?
Yeah, sorry.
Exposure is their worst factor. I think a lot of it now is we've got to be very, very careful, because I think there's a lot of infiltration into the community, and they may be mentally ill, and they're trying to sort of compensate. Well, I'm not ill. I'm a targeted individual like all these other people are.
Why do you think that's important?
It's putting question marks against true TIs.
How can you tell though? How can you tell the difference?
You can't.
Yeah.
It's designed to mimic mental health problems, mental health issues.
Right.
Especially with the voices and the talking and all that sort of stuff. Do you want to meet Mum? Mum's in there.
Hey, how's it going? Sorry for invading your house.
All right, no problem.
Hello?
Hiya.
Who's this guy?
That's Ted.
Ted. Hello, Ted.
Ted's been viciously attacked. If you just look, you can see the white of his eye, more on one eye than the other eye.
So what do you think happened?
Home invasion.
Right.
Not only are they persecuting me, but they're attacking defenceless dogs and animals when I'm not in the house. I've got a very expensive Bose CD system in there that I brought down to show you. This is only one item, and I came home one day and I went to move it, and the whole case just came off in my hand.
So this is all your evidence?
This is just my folder of colossal amounts of evidence.
What's this about?
The front tiles on the front of my house, all right? That someone had smashed, and you can see where the stone or something had hit it and smashed all the tiles on the front of my house. Everybody gets a stroke of bad luck every now and then, but to have it continual, to have it continuous, I was just like, something's going on here.
Of course, there are some people who are just really, really, really unlucky.
Well, would you say things like this are unlucky? Would you say things like
totally...
Would you say things like my dog's eye was unlucky? Would you say that somebody defecating in my bed unlucky?
Why would
I shit in my own bed?
What?
Seriously,
more bewildering is, why would the government shit your bed?
Or why would the Freemasons' son shit in my bed?
Why would anyone shit in your bed?
Exactly. Why?
When you think about why anyone would shit in your bed, what conclusions do you come to?
I'm just bemused by it. Absolutely bemused. You know, it's unthinkable. You know, why would somebody want to do that?
Yeah.
It's a program. Getting back to the issue that you brought up earlier on, what if this was a mental health problem? Now, so we've got tens of thousands of people all experiencing the same things, so they've all got the same mental health problem. That is some specific mental health issue, isn't it?
Unless all of these symptoms, or a large number of these symptoms, are also mental health symptoms.
It's just impossible. That's impossible. It actually blows the mental health conundrum out the water.
Have you also noticed these home invasions?
I haven't, no. But when Shane tells me...
It's only because I'm like 007, you know what I mean? And I'm literally, I know how I leave things.
It would take so much effort to break into someone's house and dismantle their stuff and attack their dog. Why do you think someone would go through all that effort?
Because they're trying to scare you.
But why would they want to scare Shane so much?
Because he knows what's going on and they don't like it.
Right. Okay. So because he knows that he knows how targeting works.
Yeah.
He's now a problem for them, so they have to
That's
target
it, yeah.
him more to scare him. Yeah.
He's fighting them and they don't like it.
And why did they start targeting him in the first
I don't know.
That's the question.
I don't know.
That's the holy grail question.
Yeah.
You know, I'd love to know that.
Yeah.
The people doing it, I hope they get caught.
But for some TIs, it's too late. Like I mentioned, you know, it was only Richard Dowell. It was only last Wednesday. His girlfriend, Desiree, came on and said, "I need to let you all know that that he's killed himself. Death is freedom in this program. You know, for TIs."
During the making of this film, we heard about 4 targeted individual deaths. At least some of these were confirmed as suicides. But for TIs, even a suicide was triggered by the program. It felt important to see if medical professionals were aware of the targeting phenomenon. So I arranged to speak to clinical psychologist Professor Philippa Garrity. A targeted individual is someone who believes that they're being stalked by the government. They believe that they're being mind controlled. If someone came to you with these beliefs, what would your professional opinion be about what was going on?
Well, I would have a conversation with them first, get as broad a picture as possible, understand when these ideas started and the context in which they started.
What are some of the common symptoms of someone who's experiencing psychosis and delusions?
So one set of experiences is hearing voices, or experience your thoughts as no longer private. And then there's a constellation of beliefs which may occur. And one set of beliefs may be beliefs that people are wanting to harm you.
A lot of the people we've met have actually found it a really reassuring, positive experience to see lists of the symptoms they've experienced online.
Human beings are social beings, and we seek, a social support and a world in which we're understood. And one of the most difficult things for people is that they can feel very alone and very isolated and very frightened. So it's a good thing to find people who share those experiences and can provide understanding and support. The question is whether then that is a group who can help you, or whether it does something slightly different of reinforcing a very high level of preoccupation.
As society does become more of a surveillance state, is it more difficult to distinguish people who have delusions and people who are actually telling the truth?
The question of truth or falsity can be a bit misleading, because do I know whether I'm being subject to surveillance? You know, how would I know? And how would I judge that ultimately? So I don't think it is for mental health professionals or the world in general to force people to change their views of what's happening. But I do think it's for us to help people who are in distress.
In Kieran's case, it was hard to know if meeting other targeted individuals was just a form of group support or an unhealthy preoccupation. Later that night, he was having a dinner party with some friends.
Yeah, this is Nino.
Hey, Matt.
Antonino, nice to meet you.
Good to meet you. So what's the plan for tonight?
We'll buy some food and then we'll go back to my place to cook it and eat.
So how many people are you expecting tonight?
Well, there's 3 TIs, me, Naomi and Richard. And there's Antonino, of course, who's a personal friend of mine, who's a non-TI, yeah.
Antonio, what do you think about the whole TI business?
It's a possibility, you know?
Yeah.
It's a possibility.
A possibility?
Yeah, for me it's a possibility.
Switch them around.
Okay, cool.
It's one of the hardest parts for you guys, suffering so much from something that no one believes is true.
As soon as you start saying I've got implants, that's it, you get a shutdown.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Refer them to psychiatrists.
Refer them to psychiatrists, refer them to psychiatric treatment.
And I'll say this on camera as well, if either Richard or Naomi were to be sectioned, they're going to have to deal with me too. Because I'll be there defending them.
Rock on, Kieran.
Yeah, well, remember it.
We're not begging for permission. We're not even trying to convince you this is real.
But the internet has been our saviour. Without the internet, we could not have hooked up. We could not have learned what we've learned. We would be in the dark. We will be in the dark.
I understand there's been a lot of deaths in the TI community. Have you guys heard about this?
People have been dying constantly.
Max has died.
Yeah, constantly
And in the way
for decades now.
now. There's sufficient evidence here, both abroad, internationally, and at local level, enough and sufficient enough for the government to act. The question is, why aren't they?
Yes.
The internet has allowed targets to find each other and have their experiences validated. And every time a target dies, it strengthens their belief that the threat is real and makes the fight back more urgent.
Being able to open up their mind.
How's the targeting been?
Very heavy. I've got a new little device, actually, a very sensitive metal detector.
Yeah.
That picks up AC wiring. Ted, calm down, please, mate.
Yeah.
So I set it here, and it'll beep. Right, that's... Is the arrow pointing somewhere?
Yeah, the arrow's pointing right here, yeah. So you reckon you got an implant right
you
here
tell
in the
me.
middle of the
What's
forehead?
that doing?
Yeah, I do remember that's where you said that you had implants before.
I'm supposed to be a human being with flesh and blood and bones.
But you feel like a cyborg.
Well, I'm not saying cyborg.
Yeah.
You know, there's something in me that shouldn't be in there. Just recently, on searching for evidence and searching for ways to combat the bits and pieces, we've secured a facility somewhere in Spain to go and get some full medical scans and full medical readouts done. When I get to the stage where I've got physical scans of foreign objects in myself, I mean, that's going to be one of the biggest libel cases this country's ever seen. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Why haven't they investigated as to why I can attach these magnets to myself?
Can we see the magnets?
Stop and I'll go and get them from upstairs. Right, now put them anywhere around. You don't have to push it.
Or should we try what about here?
You don't need to push it on.
Okay, right.
Right, hold that on where you just put the magnets. You need to hold that, let it beep. No, is that normal?
Let's see. So should we try it on me in the same place?
Around that area.
Do you think that...
I think you need to get some scans done, mate.
You think I need some scans too?
Can you stick magnets on your neck?
Is it staying there?
It's not moving.
And so do you think this proves that I
don't know what it proves, mate.
implants?
I'm not going to comment.
Right.
The same as I'm not going to comment about why it sticks to me until I get the proof.
Right,
But all I'm
okay.
saying is wouldn't you say that's bizarre?
My natural reaction is if it works on me and I haven't got those things, maybe it just picks up something on every human body.
Who knows?
And maybe magnets can just sort of stick to skin, maybe. I don't know, that's my natural reaction.
knows?
When the magnet stuck to me, I thought Shane would start to question its validity as a test, but instead it just made him think that I was implanted myself. His conviction seemed impenetrable to anything that might contradict it.
We do believe when we get this evidence from Spain that, there's going to be no stopping us. If it comes to it, I'm thinking about things like getting a load of TIs together and holding a demonstration outside the surgery down here. Why shouldn't we do those sorts of things?
Kieran had just received a letter questioning the validity of his scans.
Okay, this is a letter from my GP. Thank you for your letter last Friday and for loaning the book. I have to admit I found it rather uncomfortable reading for a number of reasons. To suggest that a large number of people are targeted individuals and being persecuted by dark, unseen forces using remote neurosurveillance and implantable devices and being mislabelled as mentally ill is hard to swallow as a medically trained person myself. I might understand if someone was being tracked because they were a spy, involved in espionage, or with the potential to commit a terrorist activity, but the vast majority of people are of no interest to such higher powers. What is the reason for you being targeted, stroke monitored as you believe yourself to be? In terms of probability, and you are not going to like to hear this, I think you have a mental disorder, and to say otherwise will be disingenuous of me. I sincerely hope I'm wrong, of course. There is always that possibility, but I don't think so somehow. There's two major things that stand out from this letter. One, and this is from the positive bent, shall we say, he seems to have come around to a degree in accepting some of what I'm saying to him. But the really, really infuriating aspect of this letter is the fact that he's had to bring up me having a mental disorder after I've spent all this time, and then I'm back at square one. The one that counts, the gatekeeper, the doctor I'm registered with, that legally has to deal with me, has tried to tell me that this is interference on the scans. He's rounded off this letter by stating, I'm just not convinced at all. Sorry. Well, if that's the case, I 100% believe that I can convince him. Because to my mind, I mean, I am blessed with my mental stability, but nobody's going to accept it until they've seen physical, acceptable evidence.
These are all I planted all these plants, all these trees.
And did you have to leave this house because of the targeting?
Yeah. Well, they poisoned me in here.
They poisoned you?
They nearly killed me in here.
When you're here, do you get more targeted?
I used to get all sorts of people creeping around the backs and all that sort of stuff. Can we get out of here? I don't feel comfortable.
Really?
No.
Is the targeting?
No, it's nothing to do with targeting. It's nothing. It's being human. You know, you can appreciate it. I mean, it's quite emotional.
All right. Well, we can get out of here then.
Yeah, I'd like that. Yeah. But yeah, this is what I used to own, and was taken away.
Mm.
I was basically run out of my own town. Well, I could have stayed. I could have stayed and died here.
How is it giving you relief to know that all of this has been part of a government program and that you're a targeted individual?
It just confirms your sanity, doesn't it? Does that make sense?
Yeah. So it gives you relief to know that...
But it's coming from an outside force. I mean, this has all been put on me.
Because it means that you're not crazy and it's real.
It means I've got something to fight against. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course.
It means that I've got something... I've still got a journey to go. I've still got a task at hand. Do you know what I mean? I've still got to find a solution. I don't think the targeting's going to stop once I get these scans done. And that's... But it's going to make me feel a whole lot better with evidence to come back to this country and go, what have you been up to?
Yeah.
You know, why have you done this? Why have you covered it up prior?
Yeah.
And now I've had to go to a foreign country to get the evidence to prove what I was telling you in your office, Mr. Doctor, Mr. Consultant, Mr. Specialist Ear, Nose and Throat Doctor.
Yeah.
I mean, you ridiculed me about putting magnets on my face. Now tell me what that is. Can you see?
This little park here is nice. I did speak to Kieran briefly and said that I'd seen you.
Oh, you spoke to Kieran?
Briefly, yeah. He was saying he's going somewhere.
He's getting his brain scanned in Spain.
Yes, that's what he said, and he's taking Shane with him.
Yeah. So you look like you're on the go. You've got everything packed up.
I've always got everything packed up. I live out of a suitcase. So my plan is I'm going to rent a shipping container which normal people use to store their things in. I'm going to tell the guy I'm storing my stuff in there, but really I'm going to store my stuff and sleep in there.
So when you finally get this shipping container and you've moved in, do you think that's going to solve all your problems?
No, of course not. Not daft. It's going to get me through the next day, the next week. But I don't want people to think I'm running away from something. And you know, it's a choice, it's a decision. We all have that choice.
What has your choice been?
My choice is to say thank you for helping wake me up to the realization that this is actually occurring. And it does explain a lot, actually, because when I was a child, I looked around, I thought, why are people behaving in these extraordinarily bizarre, stupid ways? And why do we have to have this system? And why are we all sitting in rows at school? And obviously something is wrong, simply because there's a massive discrepancy between what society is like and what it could be. What it could be is absolutely just really, and I know that in my, it's going to bring tears to my eyes to go there, but I can't really go there anymore because I'm too, after my sauna, I think.
Is finding other people who share your same experience of reality, is that helping you to find that your reality is real?
Everybody's reality's, I guess, their unique reality, isn't it? And there seems to be a consensus reality, but it seems over the last 10 years or so, a lot of people are coming up and saying, I am having voices in my head which are not mine, or I have been implanted, because, you know, I want hardcore proof as much as the next person. But in my life, I believe I have that, because I have first-hand experience of it. But I don't think my targeting is any more a dream than anything else, that's what I'm saying. But where there's a will, there's a way, I always believe. What's in that box? Just an electrosmogmeter to avoid Wi-Fi. It measures microwave radiation, so if you put it near a cell phone tower. But it's not, I don't want to focus too much on the electrosensitivity because that's just a little side effect. Well, I'll read it when I'm walking. I just wonder what...
If targeting gave Shane a way of fighting back, it gave Fiona a way of understanding why the world was full of so much pain. Later that evening, Shane and Kieran had an important meeting to confirm the scans in Spain.
Of course, yeah. I mean, what we're trying to do is engineer a position from which we can, well, bring matters to bear, get the official recognition we need.
Make somebody accountable, mate. We need to make somebody accountable for what they've done to us.
Yeah, but first, my priority is to get an operation and then pursue who's accountable.
Yeah.
So if this technology was removed from me, it would be like an animal being let loose from a trap. As simple as that, yeah.
And we've never been in this situation before. We've never had this opportunity before.
We're not scientists.
No.
We're not doctors.
We're just level-headed, grounded people with a reasonable level of intelligence that knows that there's something wrong, drastically wrong going on.
Without exaggerating, we're making history here.
It's quite a bohemian-like scenery, isn't it?
We should go camp outside Downing Street where we've got the evidence log.
Targeted individuals' beliefs trap them in a terrifying reality and encourage them to reject professional help. But it's easy to see why the number of targeted individuals is growing. For people who hear voices or feel that they've lost control of their thoughts, it provides an explanation that affirms their sanity. When I first met the TI community, I wanted to understand how they could believe something so improbable. But I realized I had to forget about whether it was true or not, because challenging targets' beliefs drives them further into an isolated group where their ideas are reinforced. Whether or not the program is real, what's more important is that the anxiety, loneliness, and tragedy they feel definitely is. And where society has failed to offer them a solution, they've gone online and found each other.
So where are you going now?
Should I say?
Yeah.
I am I'm going to India tomorrow. I've got a flight to Mumbai. I'm not very good at doing two things, but speaking and doing things. So
It's totally fine. I think you're doing a great job. I guess it's a small upshot of the targeting that it's motivated you to stay healthy.
Strong mind, strong body.
Yeah.
Go hand in hand.
Well, I've got the evidence and I can feel this and everything else stating before as to why I don't doubt my circumstances it's a fact.
That's it.
Hi, my name is Morgan, or my alias actually. I have 28 years old and I live in Denver, Colorado. The title of this video is My Story and a Critical Message for the World from an experienced targeted individual. I'm going to summarize my story, especially because the actual message of this video is more important than just telling my story or testimony. But the whole situation is connected, my story and the message, and I'm going to explain what I meant. I can say that my gang stalking situation or organized harassment situation started since 2021. I have dealt with stalking, organized harassment, smear campaigns, very extensive smear campaigns, job sabotage, until I end up in a shelter, a homeless shelter. During my staying in that homeless shelter, I have dealt with more stalking and more organized harassment, and even monitoring, a permanent monitoring, and also with many stalkers or individuals that have pretend to be my handlers. Also, I have dealt with a couple of human trafficking incidents. I also have reached the FBI, 911, and local security. I even have a couple of case numbers, open cases, and probably I'm being part of a investigation. In addition of I have played the detective, I have gathered my own information, like an intelligence asset by my own but unofficial. It was a pretty difficult time during my staying in that shelter. Not at all, actually. I was in a situation of risk, but everything goes smooth, I think, despite of the actual situation. Probably because I was being protected. But that's another story, pretty difficult to explain. After a while, before leaving that shelter, I leave that shelter after a while, but before of that, I met a couple of people. I'm not going to get into this part of the story. I don't think that is really necessary at the moment. This is going to be a pretty improvised video, so probably I'm going to make another video saying the same thing, but scripted and all with all information organized. Well, after leaving that shelter, I have dealt with even more direct and intense stalking and organized harassment. That period of time began actually in February and March of 2025, when I end up in a shelter. But after leaving that shelter, all the stalking and organized harassment increased by many people. Everywhere, every place I had been present, all day, one after another, there's a lot of people stalking me, addressing me somehow with triggering words, with suggestive conversations, suggestive songs, with gestures that many individuals do one after another, trying to make you understand by pattern recognition. In addition, I have identified a new smear campaign regarding to me, very complex, saying that there's a lot of things that has been said about me. I don't know if it's really necessary to talk about it. I think for the moment I'm going to skip that part. But yes, there's a very extensive smear campaign towards me. many individuals supporting a false narrative, lies, organized. These people are networks of deceivers or even illusion builders. They are there to manipulate the perception of people, especially regarding other people or targeted individuals. These networks of gang stalkers, as people know them, or networks of organized harassment, are also people dedicated to deception, even to, how I said, illusion builders. These individuals are even organized, practically doing acting performance or creating like a simulation just because of a target. They react and move according to a target. It's like the movie The Truman Show. It's pretty similar. Many people involved in creating like a simulation towards a target. Only if that target is a significant target. The most of the targets, how I know, they are just dealing with simple actors to keep them more under control, manipulate them, or guide them to a trap, like for human trafficking. So, regarding my situation, it has been very bothering deal with so many people in my own communities, in markets, in the streets. They are everywhere. It's incredible how the people in here where I'm living are involved. It's like the general population. Sometimes I think they are just people going out and organizing to make it look like they are everyone, the whole local population. But I'm starting to believe that there's an alarming involvement of the local population. It's not just a group organizing towards a target, surrounding a target. They are many people involved in this thing, and it's not just a question of people following people or harassing them. This is about a cult. These stalkers are being part of a cult of devil worshipping in secrecy. Not all of them. Many of the individuals involved are like just paid for tasks. They are just working according to them. But the actual threat are the devil worshippers or cult members. I'm actually dealing with cult members, and actually, and also they're like step soldiers or pounds that the paid for task individuals. It's a pretty complex organization. It's not just people organized. Very complex situation. I'm talking about a cult architecture, or trying to explain it in
hackers using satellites to cyber hack your life. Gangs use slang, don't decode the message. Mob kingpins and mob enforcers. Mind hackers and biohackers using satellites to cyber hack your life. Gangs use slang, don't decode the message. Mob kingpins and mob enforcers use hot informants that stay dormant until you unlock the talk that makes these monoliths walk. Recreational speed rebuilds the flesh after antipsychotics reduce my head to match left for dead. The government and cops are on left. Quantum energy fills the flesh like Gilgamesh. With quantum wind circulates around the corpse. Another perk is orgasms achieved among these whores. Pay for sex, I'm perplexed and vexed by the hex of their vaginas. Hidden equipment makes men slaves because it takes 10 days to get paid for another session. Our confession, in fact, is that I cook meth in the lab, reactivate the nerve cells, give the metabolism back to its regular rhythm. Outlawed in the city, I dip, duck, dive, and dodge the guys of Ottawa's landscape. Forge ties through secret handshakes, hidden telepathic signals and neural data extract. Never head back to the beginning. See that CPAP? I need that weed back. Conspiracy theories coming to life. My mind is sharper than knives. No wives to hold me back. Married to my work, more money, more playboy bunnies, more strippers with small pussy. My dick was long and thin until the government shrunk it, until it shrunk into my stomach. Ghost guns for revolts made by gunsmiths. Hollywood ain't so good for all the boys up in the hood. When the girls destroy the world and leave men stranded in the woods. Hollywood ain't so good for all the boys up in the hood. When the girls destroy the world and leave men stranded in the woods. War wolf, the unknown soldier, a ghost in the shell of his former self, a host for the hells of his older self, a rebel disguised as a devil where the devil live vile.
A devil's advocate in the city where the devil in Elmvale runs wild. Possessed to the core, a psychic medium who hoard the women of the city and left them in the head at death's door. Never mention Jansen again, they said, as Juan and Jansen would both break bread. Juan could have died, his excuses were true, so Jansen had sex with Juan and stripped the boy nude. People didn't like Juan because the boy was so rude, and Jansen was the billionaire biotechnologist. Juan wanted to be, the boys were so cruel. The liberals didn't give a shit. Them in the United States were both hypocrites. Blame the immigrants, they did as if everyone was indigenous. Give them the drug that made them die on the inside. MK Ultra would keep them alive through the silent genocide. But the trauma and turmoil awakened the third eye in one's mind. Although the psychosis was primal instinct, there was much more in store. Like shadow people and the wind spirits that open one's door. The devil wanted Juan back in hell so humanity could survive once more. Hollywood ain't so good for all the boys up in the hood. When the girls destroy the world and leave men stranded in the woods. Hollywood ain't so good for all the boys up in the hood. When the girls destroy the world and leave men stranded in the woods. Mind hackers. Mind hackers. Mind hackers. Mind hackers and biohackers.
Using satellites to cyber hack your life. Gangs use slang, don't decode the message.
Mob kingpins and mob enforcers use hot informants that stay dormant until you unlock the talk that makes these monoliths warp. Recreational speed rebuilds the flesh after antipsychotics reduce my head to match left for dead. The government and cops are on left. Quantum energy fills the flesh like Gilgamesh.
Where quantum wind circulates around the corpse. Another perk is orgasms achieved among these whores.
Pay for sex, I'm perplexed and vexed by the hex of their vaginas. Hidden equipment makes men slaves because it takes 10 days to get paid for another session. Our confession, in fact, is that I cook meth in the lab, reactivate the nerve cells, give the metabolism back to its regular rhythm. Outlawed in the city, I dip, duck, dive, and dodge the guys of Ottawa's landscape. Forge ties through secret handshakes, hidden telepathic signals and neural data extract. Never head back to the beginning. See that CPAP?
I need that weed back.
Conspiracy theories coming to life. My mind is sharper than knives. No wives to hold me back. Married to my work, more money, more playboy bunnies, more strippers with small pussy. My dick was long and thin until the government shrunk it, until it shrunk into my stomach. Ghost guns for revolts made by gunsmiths. Hollywood ain't so good for all the boys up in the hood. When the girls destroy the world and leave men stranded in the woods. Hollywood ain't so
for the hells of his older self. A rebel disguised as a devil where the devil live vile. A devil's advocate in the city where the devil in Elmvale runs wild. Possessed to the core, a psychic medium who hoard the women of the city and left them in the head of death's door. Never mention Jansen again, they said, as Juan and Jansen would both break bread. Juan could have died, his excuses were true, so Jansen had sex with Juan and stripped the boy nude. People didn't like Juan because the boy was so rude, and Jansen was the billionaire biotechnologist Juan wanted to be. The boys were so cruel. The liberals didn't give a shit. Them in the United States were both hypocrites, slain the immigrants. They did as if everyone was indigenous. Give them the drug that made them die on the inside. MK Ultra would keep them alive through the silent genocide. But the trauma and turmoil awakened the third eye in one's mind. Although the psychosis was primal instinct, there was much more in store. Like shadow people and the wind spirits that open one's door. The devil wanted one back in hell so humanity could survive once more. Hollywood ain't so good for all the boys up in the hood. When the girls destroy the world and leave men stranded in the woods. Hollywood ain't so good for all the boys up in the hood. When the girls destroy the world and leave men stranded in the woods. Mind hackers. Mind hackers. Mind hackers. Mind hackers and biohackers using satellites to cyber hack your life. Gangs use slang, don't decode the message. Mob kingpins and mob enforcers use hot informants that stay dormant until you unlock the talk that makes these monoliths warp. Recreational speed rebuilds the flesh after antipsychotics reduce my head to mesh. Left for dead, the government and cops are on left. Quantum energy fills the flesh like Gilgamesh. Where quantum wind circulates around the corpse. Another perk is orgasms achieved among these whores. Pay for sex, I'm perplexed and vexed by the hex of their vaginas. Hidden equipment makes men slaves because it takes 10 days to get paid for another session. Our confession, in fact, is that I cook meth in the lab, reactivate the nerve cells, get the metabolism back to its regular rhythm. Outlawed in the city, I dip, duck, dive, and dodge the gods of Ottawa's landscape. Forge ties through secret handshakes, hidden telepathic signals and neural data extract. Never head back to the beginning. See that CPAC? I need that weed. My mind is sharper than knives, no wives to hold me back. Married to my work, more money, more playboy bunnies, more strippers with small pussy. My dick was long and thin until the government shrunk it, until it shrunk into my stomach. Ghost guns for revolts made by gunsmiths. Hollywood ain't so good for all the boys up in the hood. When the girls destroy the world and leave men stranded in the woods. Hollywood ain't so good for all the boys up in the hood. When the girls destroy the world and leave men stranded in the woods. War Wolf, the unknown soldier, a ghost in the shell of his former self, a host for the hells of his older self, a rebel disguised as a devil where the devil live vile. A devil's advocate in the city where the devil in Elmvale runs wild.
This is a book about the targeting and torture of American citizens on American soil over the past 70 years. Our government has been using people for non-consensual experimentation, for training, research, and development purposes. This book will cover not only the targeting of citizens, it will also cover the technology that they have developed. This book is Michael Parsons' testimony. It's a true story of his life. I, Michael Parsons, have been targeted since childhood. The first half of my life, they studied me. The second half of my life, they targeted me. I found myself placed into a lifelong trauma-based remote mind control, behavior modification CIA, no-touch torture program. Our government is running the biggest covert psyops on American citizens, on American soil, in the history of the United States. They are hiding in plain sight. I, Michael Parsons, would like to share with you what I know. Our government is running multiple programs for many different reasons. They are running these programs in secret because they are totally illegal and immoral. They have weaponized and linked everything together. Everything is connected to the internet. This is done through NASA and their satellites working with Geospace Intelligence Agency. They can control the grid. Nowadays, everything is connected to the internet. Everything from your smartphone to your wireless PC to your smart TV and all the smart devices you have around your home, right down to the smartwatch that reads your body's bio levels. Now, all of this would be just fine if that's all they did, but that's not the case. Targeted individuals are also monitored and tortured by these same systems. These are monitoring and behavioral control systems which targeted individuals cannot escape from regardless of where they go to on Earth. Authorities dismiss most claims as paranoid, delusional, or schizophrenic. This is why it is more important than ever before for targeted individuals to come together. Michael Parsons is my name. I am a survivor of a well-designed, covert, ran military isolation and removal program. Our government is running secret programs on selected people globally. The government is contracting large private companies to do the dirty work on these targeted individuals so they can stay out of view from any lawsuits. There are many different government departments and agencies involved in this targeting program. The National Security Administration, NSA, is ran by the heads of our military branches, the Army, Air Force, Marine, and Navy, and they work hand in hand with the Geospace Intelligence Agency, which works with NASA satellites. These agencies working together are able to collect everyone's encrypted data. Automatic AI systems are able to collect and analyze everyone's data. These AI systems are looking for keywords, and if you say the wrong word, the AI system will flag you as a threat, and you will be placed on a terror screening watch list. Once you get flagged by the AI system, then one or multiple departments of our government targets you and puts the targets under investigation. These are covert investigations that are done in secret, and the target is totally unaware that they are under investigation. Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, Department of Homeland Security, DHS, and Defense Intelligence Agency, DIA, are all to be blamed for this part of the targeting. When the targeted individual TI is under investigation, they have no clue. They collect everything they can on the TI. They like to use relationships to achieve collecting the target's data. They set the target up with a relationship which for these departments is a sure way to get to know everything about their target. Federal agents undercover will go to great lengths to make the TI fall in love with that agent. This allows the agent to be as close to the target as possible and allows the undercover agent to collect all the target's data. At this point of the investigation, the undercover agent is collecting the target's likes, dislikes, habits, and routines. In some cases, the target individual has been totally infiltrated by this honeypot better known as an undercover federal agent. It depends on the department that's investigating the target and what they're planning on doing with the target. If they want to remove the target secretly, they can have the undercover agent poison the target with food. They could also cook foods for the target that causes excess sugar in the bloodstream. This could lead to the TI having a leg removed, or it could lead to the target's death and no one ever knows it was scripted covert murder. In other cases, after they have collected all the data on the target that they need, they then have to make a decision on what they are going to do with the target. If they investigate the targeted individuals and do not come up with enough to charge the TI in court, then they pick a program that they can use the target in for training, research, and development. At that point, the target is now dealing with private contracted security companies that are using targeted individuals as guinea pigs. Now for the targeted individuals, everything changes. The monitoring transforms from covert surveillance, where the target has no idea that they are being studied, into overt surveillance, which is when the target realizes that people are watching them. In fact, at this point, there are people everywhere going out of their way to make sure that the targeted individual sees that they are being watched. It is an all-out attack on the target individual. The target will have people following them everywhere they go all the time. The target starts to realize that they are also being attacked by their electronic devices that they have in their home. For example, if the target's name is Jane, every few minutes there would be someone on the TV. Or if the target turns the radio on, there will be a commercial and they will say Jane's name in the commercial over the radio. Every time the target uses items like this, they go out of their way to let the target know that they are everywhere the target is, and can even cut into the target's electrical devices to communicate with the them. Then, when the target tries to use the phone, there will be people cutting in on their phone calls as well. So the target is now dealing with constant surveillance and harassment from their stalkers, but they are being invaded by all their electronic devices as well. They are driving the target crazy at this point because it is like a form of psychological torture on the target. Now the target has been placed in a program. This targeting is being done in stages, and now that the target is under constant attack 24/7, the target is under constant stress, and the target's anxiety goes up. This program is designed to do just that, stress the target out, NSA program. The technology that they are using on targets is like something from a sci-fi movie. It seems unreal. These technologies include directed energy weapons, voice-to-skull technology, and RF radio frequency attacks, telepathy communication thought reading technology, and two-way brain link between the targeted individual and a supercomputer that is being controlled by an AI system, linking the target's brain to a computer for life. This allows them to record every aspect of the targeted individual's life. Every thought, emotion, sensation that the target has can be recorded and then uploaded and saved. FBI part. The FBI first investigates the target, collects the target's data, and then shares the target's data with the other agencies. The FBI is also responsible for the stalking and harassment of the target. There is a fusion center in every state inside the USA. It's called the Fusion Center because this is where they take the target's data and fuse all the target's data down through the state police, and then down to the local police, sheriff's department, then down to the community where the targeted individuals lives in. CIA part. The CIA has large covert groups of people who constantly stalk and harass the TI. These covert groups also like to create chaos in the targeted individual's life, keeping the target under constant pressure and stress. This is called the CIA Chaos Program, also known as the CIA No-Touch Torture Program. Being a targeted individual is for life, and these programs being ran on targeted individuals are lifelong programs. One stress is the #1 killer in the world, and keeping the target under constant control chaos will shorten the target's lifespan by many years. The continuous constant stress on the targeted individual will raise the target's biolevels, body temperature, blood pressure, heart rate, and so on. And that helps the agents at the Geospace Intelligence Agency because they are reading target individuals' biolevels through their encrypted signals intelligence program. 3. In addition to being connected to the space grid, targeted individuals also are connected to their handlers. These are CIA contracted agents that are assigned to the target. These agents try to get as close to their targets as possible. They are using mind-reading technology on targeted individuals, and they are reading target individuals' thoughts and brainwaves. These agents are capturing the emotions and senses, and they work hand in hand with your local CBA community-based agent. These agents control the chaos around the target individual so they can map out the targeted individual's emotions and senses and save and upload them to a supercomputer. The chaos that they create helps the handlers collect the target's senses and emotions like fear, anger, sadness, and so on. 4 CIA Chaos Program is designed to break the targeted individual, to cause the TI to commit an act of violence or commit suicide. If that doesn't work, then they resort to other tactics to take the target out like car accidents, poisoning, or just simply murdering the target. The contracted agents have many ways to get rid of a targeted individual. It is as if they have the playbook on how to remove a target. In the old days, they would set the target up in a staged car accident or poison the target, but in today's world, they like to make these murders look as if they are normal cancers or illnesses, or the target gives up and takes themselves out. Today, they are using direct energy weapons on the target individuals. It is a beam at the target's head. This is a low-level beam being pulsed consistently over a long period of years at the targeted individuals. Directed energy weapons. Our military has weaponized energy in many different forms. They are able to direct energy to the target individuals in many different ways. Mobile platforms, and also they have portable microwave guns that can be fired through the walls of the target. These are microwave frequency attacks that cook the target from the inside out, just. As a microwave cooks food from the inside out, it slowly dehydrates the targeted individuals. It's silent, secret, undetectable murder. Target individuals are stripped of their rights, and their lives are attacked in every possible way. They attack the social networks of the targeted individual friends. They attack and target the families of the targeted individuals. They, over a long period of time, remove all friends and family members from the target individual's life. They use people in the targeted individual's community to run secret covert torture programs on the targeted individuals in an effort to isolate the targeted individual. Our government contracts private security companies to do their dirty work. By doing that, they relieve themselves from any possible lawsuits. It is really impossible to prove in a court of law that the government is responsible for the targeting and torture of American citizens. National Security Administration has over 2,000 secret programs that they are running. These are secret black ops funded by the American taxpayer. This is government corruption on its highest level. Only the top heads of our military and government departments know that these secret black ops programs exist. Targeted individuals are being slow killed. They are running many different programs on targeted individuals. They are running memory management programs, behavior control programs, neuro-remote monitoring programs, and mind control programs on targeted individuals. In order for them to run these programs, they target the targeted individual's brain with the electromagnetic frequency. It's a 24/7 continuous pulse of energy radiation directed to the targeted individual's brain. This allows the National Security Administration to collect all the brain data of the targeted individual. Neuroremote monitoring is when they tap into the central nervous system of the brain, and this allows them to see what the targeted individual sees, hear what the targeted individual hears, and collect every thought, emotion, and sensation that the targeted individual has for the duration of the targeted individual's life. In real time. It is a two-way brain-to-computer interface that not only allows them to read the targeted individual thoughts, it also allows them to induce thoughts into the targeted individual's brain. Remote neuromonitoring is a brain-to-computer interface program that is being used on targeted individuals. In my opinion, it's the ultimate surveillance weapon system program. Targeted individuals are monitored 24/7 for the duration of their lives. Remote neuromonitoring RNM not only allows them to monitor the complete brain activity of the targeted individual, it also allows them to manipulate the brain activity. The agents using RNM can also tap into the visual cortex of the targeted individual and see directly through the targeted individual's eyes. It's complete data collection in real time. Everything the targeted individual thinks, hears, sees, plus all the sensations, taste, and smell and emotions are not only monitored, they are also recorded and saved to the cloud and stored at a national security database center.
Possessed to the core, a psychic medium who awed the women of the city and left them in the head at death's door. Never mentioned Jansen again, they said, as Juan and Jansen would both break bread. Juan could have died, his excuses were true, so Jansen had sex with Juan and stripped the boy nude. People didn't like Juan because the boy was so rude, and Jansen was the billionaire biotechnologist Juan wanted to be. The boys were so cruel. The liberals didn't give a shit. Them in the United States were both hypocrites, slain the immigrants. They did as if everyone was indigenous. Give them the drug that made them die on the inside. MK Ultra would keep them alive through the silent genocide. But the trauma and turmoil awakened the third eye in Juan's mind. Although the psychosis was primal instinct, there was much more in store. Like shadow people and the wind spirits that open Juan's door. The devil wanted Juan back in hell so humanity could survive once more. Hollywood ain't so good for all the boys up in the hood. When the girls destroy the world and leave men stranded in the woods. Hollywood ain't so good for all the boys up in the hood. When the girls destroy the world and leave men stranded in the woods. Mind hackers. Mind hackers. Mind hackers. Mind hackers and biohackers using satellites to cyber hack your life. Gangs use slang, don't decode the message. Mob kingpins and mob enforcers use hot informants that stay dormant until you unlock the talk that makes these monoliths walk. Recreational speed rebuilds the flesh after antipsychotics reduce my head to mesh. Left for dead, the government and cops are on left. Quantum energy fills the flesh like Gilgamesh. Where quantum wind circulates around the corpse. Another perk is orgasms achieved among these whores. Pay for sex, I'm perplexed and vexed by the hex of their vaginas. Hidden equipment makes men slaves because it takes 10 days to get paid for another session. Our confession, in fact, is that I cook meth in the lab, reactivate the nerve cells, give the metabolism back to its regular rhythm. Outlawed in the city, I dip, duck, dive, and dodge the gods of Ottawa's landscape. Forged ties through secret handshakes, hidden telepathic signals and neural data extract. Never head back to the beginning. See that CPAP? I need that weed back. Conspiracy theories coming to life. My mind is sharper than knives. No wives to hold me back. Married to my work, more money, more playboy bunnies, more strippers with small pussy. My dick was long and thin until the government shrunk it, until it shrunk into my stomach. Ghost guns for revolts made by gunsmiths. Hollywood ain't so good for all the boys up in the hood. When the girls destroy the world and leave men stranded in the woods. Hollywood ain't so good for all the boys up in the hood. When the girls destroy the world and leave men stranded in the woods. Warwolf, the unknown soldier, a ghost in the shell of his former self, a host for the hells of his older self, a rebel disguised as the devil where the devil live vile. A devil's advocate.
Billions of vats filled with nutrient fluid, and human bodies turned into literal batteries. Neo opens his eyes and realizes humanity is enslaved. The system quietly sucking away our body heat. In 1999, a perfect illusion. But reality today? It's so much more perverse. Today's corporate elites don't need your physical body in a slime-filled incubator to extract fuel for their operations. They have continuous, unrestricted access to your heart rate, your stress levels, and your absolute intimacy. All through the biometric sensors on your wrist and the billions of data points you hand over to them every single day. And while you're out there praising the minimalist design and dropping hundreds or even thousands on it, corporations are raking in billions thanks to sensors and features you mostly don't even know exist. Companies, hiding behind claims of data anonymization, can, actually, determine how many times a week you're having sex, or whether you're faking an orgasm. And they know about your approaching depression way before you even dial your therapist's number. Once they piece all this data together in Silicon Valley, they sell it to nation-states, who use it to execute targeted military strikes on high-ranking officials. This is happening to every single one of you, while you frantically click accept on those cookie banners, actually thinking it makes the digital world somehow safer.
This entire market for your dignity has reached astronomical heights, and the patents being filed by the world's biggest corporations suggest they are preparing to monetize every single tear you shed before you even have the chance to wipe it away. By the way, if you want to know more than just how your smartwatches are helping navigate military drones, how many times a week your orgasm is analyzed by an algorithm, and how many billions of dollars you voluntarily hand over to massive corporations, do one little thing. Help us feed the algorithm and hit subscribe. Only you can ensure the truth doesn't stay hidden behind a corporate shadow ban.
Your spirit has been calling for answers. You're not imagining it. Welcome to Amelia's Spiritual Show. I'm just gonna present Quendic a little bit. We have another episode today of Amelia's Spiritual Show, and we have Quendic with us. He's from Kazakhstan. And also I just want to make sure that we hear you, because I did do a montage before to advertise for the GoFundMe platform, and it was hard for us to hear you, so just try to speak as loud as you can so that people can hear you. And so Quendic found the Army of Angels United about, I believe, 1 year ago. And he's been a victim, a survivor of microwave, direct weapon energy, and also, nuclear energy, also sleep deprivation. His work has been targeted also. He's doing a lot of videos and effort to find the right people that will workers can target.
Want to speak about it and show me any help in my countries, but online from many TI communities I get helps, many people speaking about this.
Through our food that we have, through the air that we breathe, it's going
implant.
Yeah, what's going on with y'all motherfuckers? I don't even know what it is, you know what I'm saying? And stuff and females exposed, all that type of shit, right? I know what it is. Don't worry about that wink, they made me do that. I ain't fucking with that. But yeah though, we exposing the CIA, the NSA, DARPA, you know what I'm saying, the game stuff with Freemasons. All these celebrities think the fuck going on too. You don't get the real information on this channel, you know what I'm talking about? But yeah though, a lot of the news that we have today are different people, you know what I'm saying, killing their family members, all that type of murdering people in fast food restaurants, all this stuff related to this program. Y'all already know what the fuck it is, you know what I'm saying? My mama motherfucker real TIs, you know what I'm saying? If you're a real TI, go ahead, comment down below, we can give you a follow back, all that type of shit, y'all already know. I know what it is. You can understand, they're trying to make me do certain type of word patterns people, you know what I'm saying? Shit like that, right? Yeah, though, all my real talking individuals, y'all already know Trump knows what's going on.
I ain't gonna lie, once I found out that motherfucking small, there's no more talking. Adios, shrimp.
Don't do shit. So like that, like real life, y'all already know. Trump motherfucker definitely know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? That's what I doubt. The Department of War, Marine Corps doing this shit. This is new normal. Up on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We got TikTok as well, you know what I'm saying? Slick.
Of your body, you rejuvenate my
still listening to you moan. They, you know, they can't.
Supreme Court case Kelo versus United States, which dealt with thermal imaging. The court ruled that using technology not in general public use to explore details of a home that would otherwise require a physical intrusion constitutes a search. It seems like backscatter vans would fall directly into that unreasonable search category if they were used on total misunderstanding of the physics involved. An X-ray is a form of light. It doesn't interact with cellular protocols or software. How did these two very different types of surveillance get lumped together?
It's a classic case of surveillance overlap. People see a van with secretive technology and assume.
Hey all, it's me again. I just thought I would give an update on what's been taking place since I started my YouTube channel. I haven't made another video in maybe a week or two. Things have actually been extremely severe for me. I'm definitely in a phase of punishment from having created my channel and saying some of the things that I said. Ever since then, I've been that you consume, that you think about is documented, and how I'm, mocked through the voice to skull technology is like a lot of it is also focused on making me think about myself in different terms.
Hey, so I just wanted to upload a video today. Hello. As a person targeted with the microwave auditory effect and acoustic heterodyne using directed energy weapons.
It's horrible.
With it being repeated
But
enough,
I started doing some
what I know it to be.
Not see it as something that is
Qigong,
or like will
martial arts type stuff, challenge, training.
I'm
separate from me.
And kind of like
I'm very concerned
the progression of language that's used.
Other people to
it really helped a lot.
Because there seems to be
handshaking, they're doing all this stuff.
a very
getting up and just putting on a video, then you follow the video.
strong sense of openness collectively within with all the TIs, the targeted individuals, that
and it's very
they want to
helpful.
share their experiences and they want to
I
be
wanted
open
to tell
about what
everybody
they
about
think
that.
it
That's my
is.
newest thing I discovered.
And I understand
I fasted for a few days
they're coming
again.
from, and you know, we're all spiritual beings
It's just
too,
not-
so like maybe we have some
It doesn't feel that great, but
you know, spiritual
afterwards you feel
experiences mixed in with it. And you know, coming from myself, I'm also I've been a spiritual person my
very
whole
common
life.
spiritual
I've
practice.
been
Make you think about yourself.
For those of you who are really hardcore.
So I get it, but
and trying to do art as always.
I also am very
to anyone who's having
I don't see any
science
hope
and reality as
for
well.
the future
So,
of art or anything.
targeted for
I really do think that we're
it's
at
unfortunate
that
that
time.
collectively
Everybody's
a lot
gonna be
of
tested,
teachers I noticed can't
regardless
focus
of what you're going
on
through.
want to
You want to make yourself as the best version
engage
of
in a
yourself you
conversation
can
of
be,
consensus collectively
and try to help
bring to the greater
people
public.
and do whatever you can.
If we,
you know.
what's happening,
if we collectively allow ourselves to fully
This
step
technology
into
is,
choosing one
they've got
narrative,
control of this technology, and there's nothing we can do
seems
about
to
it.
be, from my research,
It's crazy. I
most
can't believe
likely
this is happening.
pointing to weapons technology.
People knew the pain
It's
and suffering that I'm going through.
very
My
obvious
friends
that
who are going
that's
through
what
this
it is.
are going through. You would be shocked.
And
You
maybe
wouldn't
not
believe it.
everybody is actually experiencing
People want to act like, well, you must be crazy or something, you know.
weapons technology, and that could be part of
It's
the
not.
problem.
We're
Is
not.
that
We're
some
going
people
crazy from pain.
within the TI community
But
are
not
actually
psychological
mentally
pain.
ill, and then there
There's
maybe
nothing
could be
from
a
my
certain percentage of the
subconscious
TI
coming up.
community that are
That's not
you know,
what's doing that.
extrasensory,
It's
so
technology.
maybe they
And even
experience
this whole
You
concept
can find out real simply. You should look it up.
that I'm
Does the
not
military have
aware
weapons
of.
that
I
put
just
poison in
know
your head?
that
Are there weapons that make you feel
this
sick?
whole thing, this
Make you depressed?
these pulse
Make you stay
microwaves, these
crazy.
energy weapons, they're very
That you
powerful.
would never normally
and they
say,
can
you
make
know,
your
you know, all
brain
these things.
feel
Incredible.
and,
Incredible.
very
Try
intense.
to have a good day
It
anyway and do your
stimulates your
exercise.
cranial nerve. You could get kind of some crazy dreams and visuals.
But that's part of it as well.
And also,
merging.
I believe that it's
so that you're not
the operator's job to and intention to confuse you, to try and steer you away from
anyway,
the truth.
that's all I really have to say about that. I just
So,
don't want to leave it anymore.
because they obviously
this
they're
has been going on, and I just
psychopathic
wanted to
and they
document
don't want
happening. It's a lot
anyone
worse.
to know what they're doing.
By doing the channel, and
they don't get caught.
about that, and I do think
So
that it's important.
I'm sorry to say that
for people to really understand.
If you wanna, if you as a TI and if all of us as targeted individuals or whatever we want to call ourselves,
Welcome to the typical skeptic podcast, where we dive deep, you decide. Questioning the matrix, from UFOs where the shadows of known reside. Rob Khalil busting myths like ghosts in the night. Paranormal pros, secret space ops, yo, we keep it real, no fright. Typical skeptical, you never sleeping on the lies. Aliens, ain't no wacky black cops in disguise. From abductions to ancient scripts, we flip the script wide. GSP style, mile after mile, truth can't hide. up, TSP crew assemble, we dismantle the fable. My lab's targeted souls breaking out of the stable. Darwin Hallam, big for prowling cryptids in the mist. Mandela the fifth twist in reality, can't resist the twist. Soul trap snapping, reincarnation mapping, holographic dreams. Near-death visions, out-of-body missions, waking up the teams. No censorship here, we fear no elite scheme. Conspiracy kings ringing bells, hear the freedom ring. Skeptical seeking, never sleeping on the lies. Extraterrestrials.
Welcome to Typical Skeptic Podcast. Be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Typical Skeptic Podcast. I'm really excited about my guest tonight. I'll just let you guys know, I was supposed to have my good friend Nathan Sizek on tonight. I hope he's okay because I haven't heard from him. I don't know. I talked to Touchdown Tommy Edwards, and we did, like a lot of people are being targeted right now, and Tommy's the best to talk to about this. He knows kind of what's going on. And I'm going to read, I wrote, fan favorite Touchdown Tommy Edwards returns for a late night deep dive into one of the most controversial subjects we covered. Tommy is a former All-American college football standout who comes from an incredible football family. Both Tommy and his father made their mark in the game and set records. But Tommy's story goes far beyond football. Tommy identifies as a targeted individual and believes experiences through his life may connect to covert black ops programs. His family history adds another layer. His grandmother worked for the government, had a high level of security clearance. That has left Tommy with major questions about what his family may have been connected to. Tonight, we might get into targeted individuals, MK Ultra, Black Ops programs, Tommy's personal experiences, and also there was a big fire at Area 51, and Jason kind of covered it. The missing time 420, Jason, he did a video on it. So, I'll just touch on it, and see if Tommy has any opinions on why there may be a fire at Area 51. I can't figure out why that would be, but I'm sure there's a reason that they don't want us to know about. And also, Tommy fights against CTE too. He's against traumatic brain injuries from contact sports like MMA and football, which I totally back him on that too, because I've seen people leave fighting and be left bad forever, So with all that said, I'm going to bring him to the stage now. Tommy, thanks so much for coming back on, man. How are you?
Man, whoa, hey. Losing my balance here. I'm okay, man. Like, same as it ever was, It's like, what we call it, God damn it, what happened?
What's that? Oh shit, he cut out, guys. He'll be back. So how's everybody doing tonight? We got, I'll just like say hi to the chat. We got, holy shit, there's we got the activists in the chat. Puck Elson here, Sokola, Chloe, and Missing Time, Jason. And did everybody hear about the, while we're waiting for Tommy, did everybody hear about the,
In 1951, the CIA hired Gottlieb and directed him to launch what became MK Ultra. Gottlieb believed that in order to find a way to implant a new mind into someone's brain, you first had to find a way to destroy the mind that was in there already. In its search for ways to destroy a human mind and body, MK Ultra conducted the most extreme experiments on human beings that have ever been carried out by a U.S. government agency. By any standard, they qualify as medical torture. These experiments took place in prisons, clinics, and safe houses in the United States, in Europe, in Asia, and even in Latin America.
Hey guys, Freedom Voice here. I want to do another video here. It seems like every day something new is coming out in the media as it relates to directed energy and or MK Ultra mind control. Recently, just yesterday, actually, we had the hearings on mind control, and I want to specifically hone in and focus on the Oversight Committee discussing the experimentation that was done on unwitting subjects during the MK Ultra era. And I want to kind of show evidence at the end of this video on how experimentation, I believe, was done on myself as well as other targeted individuals. And I'm going to begin with the 2011 bioethics hearing that happened in Washington. I reported on this and showed video yesterday, but I want to show more video from that committee hearing.
My name's Alan Hornblum. I'm a Philadelphia-based author who has written books on things running the gamut from organized crime to Soviet espionage. But for the purposes of this meeting, I've written 2 books on the history of using prison inmates as test subjects. You may be familiar with one or both of them. I'm working with a couple colleagues now on the history of using institutionalized children as test subjects for research, and I can assure you some of the material I'm finding is quite astounding, including the fact that Nobel Prize winners went to institutions for the feeble-minded to use them as test subjects. And in interviewing people over the years, not just test subjects, which I do on a regular basis, but also the doctors who initiated these experiments, these clinical trials. I'm talking about people like Konstantin Melektos and Albert Kligman and Hillary Kroprowski, Chester Southam, some of the top researchers of the 20th century. Most of them are famous and some are infamous. It's remarkable that almost all of them articulate how little medical ethics was taught in medical schools at the time.
A little bit about Mr. Alan Hornblum's book. It's in relation to the Philadelphia Holmesburg prison where the Tuskegee syphilis experimentation was done. Now, what we have to understand is that experimentation has been going on since the 1940s and even before that. There's documented cases all the way from 1940 until the present day. And the purpose of this video is to show that experimentations have continued even up until 2026. Some of the detailed information as well as evidence that I'm going to present in this video includes my own experience of, I believe, being experimented on for mind control. At the end of this video, you'll see that evidence.
An unusual type of harassment has reportedly appeared in China, seemingly taken from the pages of a science fiction novel. Some claim the Chinese regime has developed a special kind of technology used to broadcast information directly into a person's mind. Known as electronic harassment, it's allegedly used to silence those who dare to speak out.
Wang Haibang says he's been suffering from what he calls electronic harassment for 12 years. He explained that it all started after he filed a corruption report in 2008. It was against then police chief of the Wuning County Public Security Bureau inside Jiangxi province. Soon after, he described being illegally detained, beaten, intimidated, and framed. Not long after that, he was involved in a car accident, something he says was staged. It left him hospitalized. He explained that since then, a device has been used to send information directly to his mind.
They observe my mind with the device and watch my movements. They also use the audio function to send voices to my mind, disturbing me round the clock.
Following his trip to the hospital, he says he began to suffer from the unique harassment. Wang says he believes the local police are behind the electronic harassment. That's because, according to Wang, they talk to him through it using their dialect and accent.
They don't talk about anything else. They only talk about what I'm doing, disturbing me no matter what I do. No matter what, they'll make noise and talk to me.
Wang told us that sometimes he can hear 5 or 6 people talking simultaneously, even up to a dozen. He explained that to him it seems that they take shifts talking, insulting, and denouncing him, in an effort to spark his anger and make him talk back. According to him, the technology makes it so that only he can hear the noise. He describes it as a never-ending battle in his mind.
The local officials are too corrupt. They seek to kill you with this torture. They thought I couldn't last 2 years. They never imagined I would make it this long.
But Wang's long-term fatigue has taken a serious toll on his health. Now he suffers from symptoms like headaches, weakened eyesight, and shortness of breath. Despite the symptoms, Wang says that his mental health is intact. In order to prove he's not insane, he underwent 2 MRIs and a CT scan, showing that his brain is still functioning normally. Wang began in Beijing in 2015. It's taken him 4 years to get confirmation about the technology from China's Ministry of Public Security.
The reception staff of the Public Security Ministry said that they indeed have this kind of equipment. It's very expensive. It's available in all police departments at the county level and above. The equipment can monitor your thinking and send voices to your mind and talk to you in your head. That's what they said.
Wang says the Chinese Communist Party, or CCP, currently uses the technology to control tens of thousands of people. He says he's also spoken with other victims who describe suffering the same round-the-clock noise in their minds. Some of them reportedly couldn't bear it and are believed to have committed suicide, but more and more victims have started to speak out. The CCP hasn't hidden its intention to weaponize mind control. Regime media mouthpiece Xinhua reprinted an article earlier last year speaking highly of the technology's military and wartime value. The article says the purpose of mind control weapons is not the destruction of an enemy's flesh, but of his will. It also says the new technology doesn't require a chip implanted in the human brain. Instead, electromagnetic waves, light, sound waves.
So this was a report taken from the news media agency in China regarding electronic harassment of individuals there in China. If you'll notice, they said electromagnetic waves were sort of used as the foundation for the technology. But they also mentioned the purpose of mind control weapons is not the destruction of the enemy's flesh, but rather his will. And that's what has been the objective of MK Ultra from the beginning.
But if this technology is being applied to all of us in mass, consider it. At some point, we need to have some very serious conversations about what the capabilities of modern technology are and the implications.
Do you think that they're using it en masse?
Absolutely.
On the American populace or direct to certain cities or
on the world?
Not only can we put information in without blowing up your brain, we can put it in and then you can believe it so sincerely that the problem is you can testify to that effect. There's some really interesting research that we can plant false memories in the brain. And in a different context, one of the emerging areas that's really interesting in law neuroscience is pain detection. And once we understand the circuitries that cause pain, I guess the question is, could we then instill pain and use that in many coercive measures in the legal system?
All right, so there it is, friends. You heard it yourself. They're able to use pain in coercive measures, just like they did back in the 60s and 70s under MK Ultra and the many sub-projects. This oversight hearing and what they're bringing out as it relates to MK Ultra is just simply their way of sort of kind of satisfying part of the public by saying, yeah, we did something back then. We tried to control people's mind, but we're no longer doing it today. In fact, all of the people that were involved in MK Ultra back then have all since died. So, let's move on, in other words. But friends, no, experimentation has continued. I want to kind of move to some video and evidence of what I believe experimentation that was done on me. Now, this is a little embarrassing, yes, but the fact of the matter is this happens day in and day out. I deal with this every day. Every single night I sleep, I deal with this. Now, what you're hearing in this video is, for lack of a better explanation, it's energy being sort of raining down on foil that I had sort of covering part of my body. And that's the sound that you hear. You can actually hear it hitting the foil. Now, I'm going to show you more evidence of this, what I believe is directed energy, but I just want you to see the results of this energy hitting the foil. Now, as you look real close at this video, you can actually see where it looks like some sort of microwave energy is burning holes through the foil. You can actually see it. And if you really look close, you can sort of see it falling on the foil itself. Now, as a result of this activity that was happening one particular night when I was able to record it, you can see the holes in the foil. Now, again, I know this seems really strange, but a lot is coming out now and people are starting to talk about some of their experiences. And I figured best thing to do is to put it out there so that when the information does come out, because at one point this was considered conspiracy theory. But it's not conspiracy theory anymore. Now, again, a lot of people are reporting this, not only here in America, but even overseas in China. It's just many times we lack the evidence to show what is exactly happening. So that is the reason why I'm documenting this evidence here in this video. And hopefully in the future, more information will come out. People will be held accountable accordingly. So until next time, friends, take care.
But after a certain point, these nanotechnologies just started becoming the standard operating procedure for targeting people. Before that was standard operating procedure, it was weaponized parasites, pesticides, and herbicides. And it still is. They layer that, weaponized parasites and pesticides and herbicides. And what I mean by weaponized parasites is they would lab create these ticks and mosquitoes and fleas to carry various super deadly diseases or bacteria, really. Or what is that called? They're like phages. It's like pieces of bacteria that would get in people. Basically what anthrax is and stuff like that. They say anthrax is a virus. I don't want to get into the debate of that. But basically it's toxins. And after, 2000 and something, it was pretty much everybody was being attacked with 2011, something like that, was being attacked with nanotechnologies to interface with directed energy weapons because they were trying to bring this bigger system to the masses. And that's why all of a sudden, people that would have been just surveilled for their lives and not really known that they were actively being targeted, that's how they became actively targeted, is they needed all these data ledgers, which is what we were talking about right at the beginning of the call. They needed all these data ledgers for developing the nanotechnology and directed energy weapons. So all of a sudden, it was like, if you had a third cousin that sneezed on some government official 50 years ago, you were targeted. Like a lot of you people here have no idea how you got targeted. But it's usually from some bullshit like that, excuse my language. It's from somebody a long time ago in your family, or maybe even you had a run-in with somebody. It's as simple as that. It's very, it does happen where it's random, but that's very, 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 very rare. It's usually some sort of run-in with one of these people that are connected. For me, it was my whole family was marked for various reasons I've gone over. I'm not going to go over right now. And I was just another person on that list. And then another person said, hey, this guy would be good for neuroweapons human trafficking, be a good test subject or whatever, because he was looking for a paycheck. And he was looking for access to a group of criminals, outlaw bikers, right? And so my name was already on the list. This guy said, hey, this guy would be another, he told me this, by the way, I'm not guessing. And he didn't tell it to me straight up, but he pretty much did. He spook talked it, And Whammo, because he wanted me to know, he had ruined my life. But I was already on the list. He didn't know that my family, we had already been on the list since I was like 2 years old. So anyways, that's how all this came to be. I'm sorry for ranting. But you got listed. Pretty much all of you are, not all of you, pretty much all of you though, are experiencing this so that they can further develop neuroweapons, nanotechnologies, directed energy weapons, that whole confluence of things that all the universities are helping to build, willfully or not, to roll out to the general public that's already rolled out to the general public. That's what the COVID stuff was about. They said that. They said this is, there will be a future where surveillance is under your skin. They said this stuff openly. There will be a future where, I can't remember all the quotes now, it's been years, but all that WEF Klaus Schwab stuff. God, he talks so much, and Yuval Harari, he talks so much. And if you just listen to them and think about nanotechnology, what's in the chemtrails, and then think about your own experience with directed energy weapons, it's pretty obvious, right? This is why it's happening. Why was I targeted? Well, it's because you had a run-in with somebody either a long time ago or recently, and they needed you for data ledger sets. And because of this run-in, you were listed, and because of this emerging technologies, you were tortured, and you might potentially, if things don't change, or if you don't take the right steps, or if fate would have it, you'll die from it. And that's not me exaggerating the situation. I think I'm actually understating the situation a little bit, because I don't want to freak people out here. But this is truly human trafficking. And to any human trafficked person throughout any time in history, the odds of death are always far, far greater than the people going through that would believe. Whether that's chattel slavery or the diamond mines of today in South Africa and all those in Congo and all that. They still have human slavery going on in Africa. It's still going on. Chattel slavery. Those people, they can work in a diamond mine, and be enslaved that way, or they can be organ trafficked, right? Once someone's got control over you, right? If you don't take the right steps, God willing, then your death can happen. This is no different. If you eat the wrong foods at the wrong times, have the right the right type of heart disease, they can cause a fatal heart attack. They can cause a fatal stroke. That's only if the preconditions are met and the directed energy weapons access them at the right time. Which I know personally of people that have died from that, have ate poisoned food, tried to go to sleep because they felt sick, woke up at 3 a.m. from a heart attack and died, right? It's people I've known personally. So I'm not just guessing this. This is human trafficking, and it really does kill people, and this is why it's happening to you. There are many people who would come and tell you that, this is just about mobbing, or these are just narcissistic people, and blah, 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 blah. There's so many things the disinfo people say. And I'm not saying everyone that says that's disinfo, that's not the point. Is that they try to lull you into a false sense of security, okay? Because it seems like you come on a call like this, there's 41 other people here right now. Of them, probably 20 to 30 are legit, and there's probably 10 spooks here, give or take. They'll try to tell you that because of there's this many people experiencing it, and there's other spooks that come on here specifically and go, I've been targeted for 40 years, and they sound perfectly fine, right? They want you to think that this can go on in your life indefinitely, to keep you in a state of inaction. I'm saying this because I personally experienced it myself with the spooks and in my life, the learned helplessness. But you're in a very dynamic situation, and they are actively killing people for a variety of reasons. Some of the reasons being the actual research itself, the neural weapons, directed energy weapon, nanotech research itself. It legitimately kills people by accident. Some of it is because the groups involved in the human trafficking, they legitimately are filled with pedophile psychopaths, all right? And when you're dealing with pedophile psychopaths, they oftentimes can't control themselves. Just as part of it, right? Just for the same reason soldiers in a war oftentimes can't control themselves and commit crimes against humanity. It's the same sort of idea. In fact, it's almost the same exact idea, right? The people that are running these human trafficking networks are more often than not military themselves. Not always, but more often than not. Usually they're like 4, 8, 12 years, something like that, Air Force, and then 4, 8, 12 years FBI, CIA, ATF, something like that, DHS, and then they picked up the contract for a private security firm that they run, where they employ other military vets, either from their service or from younger guys, and they do this to people. And a lot of times the network, the younger guys, the people that aren't seasoned killers but have the background of the military, they have no idea what they're getting into until they get into it. Now again, I saw this off people I knew personally and people I met when I was traveling. I saw Israeli spooks crying about this. All right, I saw a Bolivian, literally crying about how they fucked their lives over by being a part of this neural weapons human trafficking. Right, like to the part where they were actively targeting me. I felt bad for them. Right, because how could you not? You got like a 24, 26-year-old talking about how his life's over and he thinks about killing himself every day.
Tweet, tweet, tweet. Tweet, 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 tweet. Ooh, 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 ooh.
Hi, this is Celeste with the Celestial Report, and yes, I am here, and I am so thrilled to be with each one of you. I'm not opening my chat yet because I am just getting back in the saddle. Please keep your questions to the topic today on direct energy weapons and the update, because Thursday I'm going to be having just a regular Q&A for all of your questions, from gardening to geopolitical to whatever you would like to discuss. So we'll have lots of time on Thursday, but today I'm trying to keep it short and trying to get back in the saddle smoothly. And with that, we're going to start talking about, so let me refresh your memory before I go to my presentation. So as you remember, I told you several months ago now, time flies when you're having fun, that the goal of NATO this year is cognitive warfare using direct energy weapons. And so who was one of the crafters or designers was Dr. James Giordano. And so he did go out this weekend. I couldn't believe it because I had my text and everything ready to go. And he was interviewed. And we will reference that interview. So if you want to catch it on YouTube later, you can. But it was kind of lame. He's not going to talk really in depth. And I'm not going to be talking in depth. I'm just going to give you a slight overview. And then I am going to put the document that I got this from up on celestialreport.com. It is not up there right now, but it will be later today or early tomorrow. So with that, we will go to the presentation. So this primarily came from Dr. James Giordano, but like I said, lots of countries are developing their neurotechnology and their neural warfare using directed energy weapons. And they have actually made some advancements both in the militarized dangerous side, but also on the protection side. So of course, just for those of you that don't know who Dr. James Giordano, here's a brief. He's got like 6 pages of CV, but here's some of the things. He's the professor emeritus of neurology, biochemistry, and neuroethics at Georgetown University. He's in all these other places. He is a senior scientific advisor to the Pentagon, DARPA, NATO, and the WHO. So this is not Celeste's opinion or conspiracy theory. I provide you the documentation so that you can make wise decisions. So this Dr. James Giordano really truly is a actor in this space. He is the author of 375 plus publications, 10 books, and 50 plus government reports. And there's a lot of things that are classified that you and I will never know. His focus areas are neurotechnology, cognitive warfare, dual use ethics, directed energy weapons, Havana syndrome, known as anomalous health incidents. So what is new this year? So on May 5th, 2026, there was something called the Substrate Vulnerability Lecture, and it was given by the Cognitive Security Institute, and it was discussing the neural factors in cognitive security. What are they going to allow? What are they not going to allow? Pretty much everything's, AI driven, and so there's really no holes barred. June 19th, 26, Cognitive Warfare Armamentarium, and this is a CSI talk number 19, talking about emerging tools, dual use, reality, the RAMP framework, and then that News Nation interview on July 3rd, just a day before the July 4th festivities, with Katie Pavlik tonight, talking about direct energy weapons, Havana syndrome on U.S. soil, and countermeasures. And we'll do an abbreviated summary of that in this briefing. So what are the neural factors in cognitive security, according to the Cognitive Security Institute? Well, the thesis and the core of are the brain and mind is the primary battle space in modern conflict. Dr. James Giordano has been talking about that for decades, and so have I. Biological, psychological, and socio-environmental factors create this substrate vulnerability. So you need to understand that this is very much in line with the SynBio, and like where they have the substrate and the encrypted messaging, and then it's encrypted on top, little building blocks that they put inside of people through various substances and chemicals. So there have been advances in bioscience, neurotech, and AI that make these targets increasingly exploitable. I would say that landscape changes probably every 48 hours. The key topics covered are neurological targets and how they can be influenced, current and emerging technologies for affecting cognition and behavior, and steps towards deterrence, defense, and fortifying cognitive security. And we will be digging into that. I just wanted to spend a little bit more time on that, so I wanted to give you the overview today, and then we'll dive into the fortifying cognitive security in days to come. And the context, it's building on the NATO cognitive warfare definitions and Dr. James Giordano's prior work on neural weaponry. Now, there's a convergence juggernaut and dual use reality. What are the themes? There's the fusion of chemical, biological, neurocognitive sciences with AI computation. Well, Dr. James Giordano and I have both been talking about that for decades. Handle and blade interchangeable. And this is very interesting, that medical tools can be repurposed for harm. Digest that for a minute. It would be like a blade to you, basically. Neuroanomalous AI systems mimicking biological networks. And what is the purpose of that? and that is to do a artificial or a mimic, a synthetic humanoid, basically. So they're going to be, parts and parcel of all of us, testing it out, see if it works like it does in humans, and then they'll be transplanting it to a hybrid and then to a totally silicon humanoid. What is the geopolitical context? There's rapid development pace by competitors. Of course, they always point to China, who will have supposedly a significant market share by 2035, and attribution dilemmas in commercial and clandestine use. And then there's this risk mitigation called the RAMP framework. It is a risk assessment and mitigation protocol about the availability, the motivation, the access, the algorithms, the retraction, and the consequences of this technology. An emphasis on security by design and proactive preparedness. And that's what I'm going to cover in a separate presentation so that we can really delve into it deeply, because there are some new promising things on one hand and some troubling things on another. But we'll touch on it briefly tonight. And then on the News Nation interview with Dr. James Giordano, key points from the interview is that the technology is real. This is from the man who's developing it himself. Scalable, that means it can go to just affecting you as a person and maybe your brain, all the way up to nations, religions, basically any part of the population, geopolitical, anything, is being weaponized by adversaries. And, so when I worked in government, everybody was always pointing the finger at somebody else. America points to Russia and China, but honestly, we're doing the same thing. So, we have to point the finger at ourselves too. So this might be new to you that there have been, quote, several instances of apparent direct energy weapon attacks on the U.S. soil, including Florida, the D.C. area, and the West Coast, and I would say North Dakota as well. Now, this is where it gets kind of interesting. So back in the past, in my back coverage, there are two generations of direct energy weapons. One is the ultrasonic and sonic, the inner ear, the cavitation, the concussion-like brain damage that we have talked about several years ago. But now we have introduced pulsed microwaves. And what is their purpose? They are basically brain network disruption or scramblers. Think of your brain on pulsed microwaves like scrambled eggs. That's what it does. Now, where did these pulsed microwaves come from? They can come from commercial off-the-shelf bug, devices to scare the bugs away, or rodents for that matter. And also, there was a huge fight about this in the government back in the 1990s. Back then, there were the Doppler weather radars. Well, the government wanted to install microwaves on all the Doppler radar, and they sold it to the government, the lobbyists sold it to the government that you can see one raindrop in China and you can watch that raindrop come all across the all across the Pacific Ocean. You can watch it fall on the Rockies or come into the Midwest, and with this microwave technology for weather purposes. But in reality, it was because they knew that they were going to do this brain network disruption. So that's the long and short of this new technology in a nutshell. What are the effects and the capabilities? There are short and long-term impacts on the autonomic. That's the part that just moves seamlessly in your body without you thinking about it. Your immune system, and interestingly, your endocrine system, as well as your brain. So these are the major areas that it is going to hit, and you can have short-term or long-term impact from that. Now, this was kind of interesting that at this point, according to Dr. James Giordano, we don't have it in little tiny drones that they're talking about. The bigger drones have it, but not the little tiny drones. They don't have that technology installed yet, but I'm sure, by the time this comes out, they might have it. But it is, can be in backpacks, so that you need to do your own situational awareness where you are. And if you're getting symptoms, it can be somebody has a backpack and all of a sudden you're symptomatic. You need to look at that. It can be mounted on a vehicle, and it can be potentially for clandestine use. And we know all the actors in that realm. So the recommendations, detection system, I actually have an app on my phone that does do a detection when I am near something dangerous. So we will talk about that more in the next presentation. Shielding garments and early treatment protocols. We're going to talk about the pros and the cons. I'm really for the shielding garments, although, you're almost going to have to get a new wardrobe at this point. And in this summer heat, I don't know. And early treatment protocols, I don't know about that. I do know with the recent, my last year, early treatment is important, but what they're going to try and do is get you into the medical system, and you'll be a guinea pig because, they have had a few people from Cuba that they have done certain treatments on, but quite frankly, it's early in this technology, so you got to face reality that you would be a guinea pig. International treaties to govern directed energy as bioweapons. Good luck on seeing anything on that. There will be fluff pieces, but there will not be anything that will effectuate or protect the people of this world, or the animals, or the plants. So what are some things that you really need to remember about this? Is the brain is the battle space right now. Yes, we're distracted by Iran, Venezuela, Cuba, everything, but the human mind is the most contested domain in the 21st century conflict. The dual use dilemma, therapeutic neurotech, and AI tools can be repurposed for manipulation. They can be used for good, or they can be used for harm. The directed energy weapons are getting more compact. Like I said, soon it can be on a very miniature type drone, and they are proliferating. There'll be millions of them. Who didn't watch the 4th of July drones and watch as they did all sorts of things? So we see how many drones are out there, and they are linked to Havana. Can be linked if they've got a package, a payload on them, with Havana syndrome and potential domestic threats. Cognitive security, the need for detection, defense, resilience, and international governments frameworks. We're seeing this convergence of all sorts of critical or existential threats, as they like to say, saying you need to give up your sovereignty, just turn everything over to your global entities, and we'll take care of you. And we know how that one ends. So what are the implications? So for national security, we really should invest in detection, attribution, and countermeasures for neuroweapons and DUs. And I pray, my prayer is that it is not just for the military, but that it will be for the average person, man, woman, and child. integrate cognitive security into defense strategy and training, and monitor the rapid global advances in converging technologies. In ethics and governance, I gotta laugh because when all this first came out over a decade or two ago, it was ethical. All this stuff was ethical. So anyway, now we're here and in 2026, and they want to develop robust global frameworks for dual purpose neurotechnologies, pursue international agreements on directed energy and neural weapons, prioritize security by design and ethical readiness, cosmopolitan and pluralistic approaches. And for public awareness, what they want you to take away from this is to recognize that these threats are real and evolving beyond science fiction, because quite frankly, they want the fear factor. And when you realize that this is real and it could happen outside your home or wherever, it's more threatening than let's say a nuclear bomb in Chernobyl or a leak in Fukushima, because it's up close and personal. And they want you to support research into long-term effects and protective measures. So the second edition, Neurotechnology in National Security and Defense, is coming this fall, 2027, so a year out. Expanded coverage of emerging neurotechnologies. See, it's all kind of lining up for the 2030. Cognitive warfare tools, ethical governance, and practical considerations for national security and defense applications. But you are going to see an increasing amount of coverage because of the NATO. And I did put the citation so that you can know that this is not Celeste's opinion or her or conspiracy theory. So with that, I am going to open up the chat. And okay, so I'm at just below Unaverage Joe 4. So if you have a question, put a question mark. Nice to meet you, Teach Yahweh. Nice to have you here. Let's see. Nick S says, hate technology. Well, it does have its conveniences. I would not be here in the comfort of your home if it wasn't for technology. But believe me, it's taken me all day to get ready for this. And one thing, Unaverage Joe, one thing is for sure, whatever the truth is stranger than fiction, absolutely. And we are living in the Twilight Zone. I wish I could, I wonder if that's copyrighted and we could play the Twilight Zone when we do introduce topics like this. Yes, Lindy, we are living in the Twilight Zone for sure. Any other questions about the, nice to meet you, Teach Yahweh. Kenisha. Where are you from, Kenisha? You don't have to put it. I know some people are private and other people aren't. Any other questions about this? Don't forget to check out Celestial Report, because later today or tomorrow, I will have the full document, so that you can look at it and explore it for yourself and pass it along to other people. Unaverage Joe 4, according to certain researchers, Jack Parsons opened a portal, and ever since then, it's been progressively getting worse. And now we see the evil is rampant and in our faces anymore. It feels surreal. Yeah, I noticed in 2020, I could see the portal, and I actually was briefly in the portal for just a brief time, and then I was taken out, but that was through a lot of prayer. Thank you. So you're in New Mexico. I would like to visit New Mexico. It's one of the states I have not visited yet, but there's always time. The pictures that I've seen, I've watched. If I want to decompress, I watch some hiking videos, and there's some really nice ones down in New Mexico. And hi, Alicia Blaze from Massachusetts. Welcome. Nice to have you here. Nick. Oh, he's just greeting on average. So do we have any other questions about this? So tomorrow, for my subscribers, I am going to be, if you are a person that's curious about frequency, acoustics, and sound of Göbekli Tepe, the megalithic structures, the old cathedrals, we are doing a series over at Celestial Report, is for my subscribers, on all the different megalithic structures and all the ancient structures, and where did the powers that be get the technology that they have today. And we are going to start diving in tomorrow at noon, but you need to be a subscriber to access that. I might do a little 5-minute blip or something like, a short on it, but it is for subscribers because it really took a lot of time to get that information together for all of you. Did they use technology at the World Cup stadiums? I did.
Mind hackers and biohackers using satellites to cyber hack your life. Gangs use slang, don't decode the message. Mob kingpins and mob enforcers use hot informants that stay dormant until you unlock the talk that makes these monoliths walk. Recreational speed rebuilds the flesh after antipsychotics reduce my head to match Left for Dead. The government and cops are on left. Quantum energy fills the flesh like Gilgamesh. Where quantum wind circulates around the corpse. Another perk is orgasms achieved among these whores. Pay for sex, I'm perplexed and vexed by the hex of their vaginas. Hidden equipment makes men slaves because it takes 10 days to get paid for another session. Our confession, in fact, is that I cook meth in the lab, reactivate the nerve cells, get the metabolism back to its regular rhythm. Outlawed in the city, I dip, duck, dive, and dodge the gods of Ottawa's landscape. Forge ties through secret handshakes, hidden telepathic signals and neural data extract. Never head back to the beginning. See that CPAP? I need that weed back. Conspiracy theories coming to life. My mind is sharper than knives. No wives to hold me back. Married to my work, more money, more playboy bunnies, more strippers with small pussy. My dick was long and thin until the government shrunk it, until it shrunk into my stomach. Ghost guns for revolts made by gunsmiths. Hollywood ain't so good for all the boys up in the hood. When the girls destroy the world and leave men stranded in the wood. Hollywood ain't so good for all the boys up in the hood. When the girls destroy the world and leave men stranded in the wood. War Wolf, the unknown soldier, a ghost in the shell of his former self, a host for the hells of his older self, a rebel disguised as a devil where the devil live vile. A devil's advocate in the city where the devil in Elmvale runs wild. Possessed to the core, a psychic medium who hoard the women of the city and left them in the head of death's door. Never mention Jansen again, they said, as Juan and Jansen would both break bread. Juan could have died, his excuses were true, so Jansen had sex with Juan and stripped the boy nude. People didn't like Juan because the boy was so rude, and Jansen was the billionaire biotechnologist. Juan wanted to be, the boys were so cruel. The liberals didn't give a shit. Them in the United States were both hypocrites. Blame the immigrants, they did as if everyone was indigenous. Give them the drug that made them die on the inside. MK Ultra would keep them alive through the silent genocide. But the trauma and turmoil store. Like shadow people in the wind, spirits that open one's door. The devil wanted one back in hell so humanity could survive once more. Hollywood ain't so good for all the boys up in the hood. The girls destroy the world and leave men stranded in the woods. Hollywood ain't so good for all the boys up in the hood. When the girls destroy the world and leave men stranded in the woods. Hide hackers. Hide hackers. Hide hackers.
In the human body. Sabina Wallace, nanotech in the human body.
Benton, believing it might have been an attempt at psychotronic warfare or mind control via electromagnetic radiation, that this same technology could also be used by DARPA as a new form of mind control, like their counterparts at the CIA. DARPA-funded researchers have spent decades investigating how the human mind can be altered.
Zombies, right? Well, it's like I said in other with other reporters and other shows that guns and taxes won't control everybody. Electromagnetic technology will.
From the outside, we could modify the inside. We will give messages to the inside. But the beauty is that now we are not using electrodes.
In recent years, Delgado has shown that the behavior of monkeys can be altered using low-power, pulsating magnetic fields. But in these experiments, there were no antenna implants.
Any function in the brain, emotions, intellect, personality, one could be perhaps modified by using non-invasive technology.
Delgado's research has so far been limited to animals, but in the Soviet Union, a radio frequency, or RF device, has been used for over 30 years to manipulate the moods of mental patients.
Benton, believing it might have been an attempt at psychotronic warfare or mind control via...
I'm a targeted individual, and I believe that the government is targeting me.
I am a targeted individual who is being harassed with directed energy weapons.
With thousands of cases of suspected targeting across the nation.
As game stalking.
The strange phenomenon was called Havana syndrome.
Alex Jones, Jesse Beltran, Rumble.com, talking about nanotechnology as well. Infowars.com with another win talking about targeted individuals. Listen up.
Known as game stalking. After 9/11 and the birth of Homeland Security, fusion centers were set up to monitor U.S. citizens, and the U.S. Department of Justice legalized non-consensual experiments on the public. These fusion centers employ civilians to target individuals and harass them, intimidate them, vandalize their property, and interfere with their day-to-day life. This is known as game stalking. Former high-ranking FBI agent Ted Gunderson reported in 2011 that himself and thousands of others were being targeted. FBI agent Mike German confirmed this as well. Several federal agents have reported that they were targeting individual Americans, including people who were simply pro-life, and that they were pressured to put more people on their targeting lists. To legitimize more federal funding, these Homeland Security fusion centers are able to put any American citizen on the terrorist watch list without any reason or due process.
As game stalking, as game stalking, as game stalking. Too hard to find. 10.80 hertz CLF wave. The trigger 10.80 hertz CLF wave. The trigger virus behavior. Thank you very much.
Gas in your eyes with tear gas, and your eyes will actually tear up. There will be a response, and will itch until they can't see. But this is all done through the brain. It's the brain's reaction to these tortures that we're playing records about. We call it no-touch torture, and so the assumption for most human beings is, well, I don't see blood or mutilation, it can't be that bad. Well, what the brain perceives is far worse than that. The pains are amplified, sensitized, and are extremely vulnerable to these circuits being stimulated. You got to remember, this is called offensive information warfare technology. So it's just like hacking a computer. You are trying to crash that computer. You're trying to crash that human being. And all of the motivations we have, all the targeted individuals is being harassed with directed energy weapons. Thousands of cases of suspected targeting across the nation. As game stalking, the strange phenomenon was called Havana syndrome.
Alex Jones, Jesse Beltran, Rumble.com, talking about nanotechnology as well. Justice Department gang stalking. I need you to Google videos of Justice Department gang stalking. Please Google Cognitive Liberty Moral Weapons. Please watch the documentary Cognitive Liberty Moral Weapons. I need you to Google video Karen Stewart, NSA whistleblower with a stop sign in the title. I need you to Google video Karen Stewart, NSA whistleblower with a stop sign in the title. Bill Wallace, nanotech in the human body. So Bill Wallace, nanotech in the human body. So
Hearing voices with directed energy weapons cause people to suffer from Havana syndrome, and the symptoms include delusions, hallucinations, hearing voices, and trouble focusing. So what I'm getting at here is radiation attacks, radio frequency attacks, because there's so many of them before. We have targeted individuals that the government specifically targets and uses these types of radio frequency attacks specifically on them, as well as other methods that the government openly admits to doing, like gang stalking, which I've gone into detail about as well in separate videos. So this as game stalking, the strange phenomenon was called Havana syndrome.
So that this is Lazar Nolan Johnson has been number 32, section 1528, paragraph B, that since the 80s says that you can do no secret experimentation on American people unless it's for law enforcement or research purposes, including lethal. And then by the mid-2000s, they changed that, but then they put it in other codes. So yes, license to kill is in there.
As game stalking. The strange phenomenon was called Havana syndrome.
Alex Jones, Jesse Beltran, Rumble.com, talking about nanotechnology as well.
Control over time, okay? This information technology is these old documents, like the directive, the Department of Defense Directive 5240-1-R. The Department of Defense Directive 5240-1-R. Okay, this is an old directive. This directive goes way back to December of 1982. They were telling people then that they have the right, okay, to experiment on you, and you really don't have anything to say about it.
As game stalking. The strange phenomenon was called Havana syndrome.
Okay, and I want to...
In the air, the family reported microwave attacks that featured shocks, stings, stabs, burns, and the wasting effect of generalized fatigue and emotional distress of standard non-lethal microwave attacks. The entire family was experiencing fatigue and moderate to serious health effects.
due to frequencies that interrupt sleep, induce fatigue, and cause a general physical wasting. Like most TIs, they as game stalking.
The strange phenomenon was called Havana syndrome, and there was a section called 3024. And in section 3024, it specifically says that it is legal to experiment non-consensually on U.S. citizens without consent. And in section 3024, it specifically says that it is legal to experiment non-consensually on U.S. citizens without consent, as long
as game stalking.
The strange phenomenon was called Havana syndrome. See, the waves can also control their minds and their bodies.
They can cause your heart to hurt. They can cause you to blast your stomach. They can cause your ankles to give out. They can cause your knees to give out. Wherever they direct it to, wherever they can direct the pain to, your body feels all of it.
As game stalking.
The strange phenomenon was called Havana syndrome. He's nothing but a low-down, double-dealing, backstabbing, larcenous, perverted word.
I'm a targeted individual who is being harassed with directed energy weapons.
With thousands of cases of suspected targeting across the nation. As game stalking.
Remote neuromonitoring or MNME syndrome tested on targeted individuals in 1975. It's the largest covert operation being done on American citizens on American soil in the history of the USA. In plain sight, good people. The United States government using the war on terrorism to strip American citizens of their constitutional right to target, torture, and destroy American citizens' lives. They have created a series of laws that allow the government to use American citizens for non-consensual experimentation as well. The covert targeting program is a national security program by the key. It is also part of the Bio Satellite Surveillance Program that is ran by the Department of Defense. Because it's a NSA program, all the many different departments of our federal government, along with our military branches and many private contracting security companies that have main players in this covert targeting program. This covert targeting program is well funded, organized from the top heads of our military and our federal agencies right down through our state, county, and federal authorities. The military has all sorts of targeted individuals. Covert targeting programs for many different programs will designed to torture and destroy the targeted individual's life in every way, right up to the point of death of the targeted individual. Here's a list of covert programs that are being used and tested on targeted individuals. 1 surveillance program, 2 stalking program, 3 harassment program, 4 psychological torture program, 5 slandering program, 6 remote neuromonitoring RNM program, 7 manipulation program, 8 directed energy weapons testing program, 9 brain-to-computer interface program. The targeted individual covert targeting program is all of these programs combined into one big program, known as a lifelong trauma-based mind control behavioral modification program, or a much bigger program called the depopulation program. Many of the tactics they use to destroy the targeted individual's life has been known as their sense of command for decomposition and corrosion, and the lifelong victim of this covert targeting program. I'm going to explain in detail what has been done to me over my lifetime. Their sense of command for decomposition and corrosion. The East German Stasi and police use their sense of tactics on citizens to destroy lives of basically the people that went against their government. In the 1950s, the USA caused Nazi citizens of America to learn the intersection of targeted 24 and brought over 1,000 Nazi scientists to America. They gave them American citizenships in exchange for the Nazi scientists to teach our USA government the psychological warfare tactics known as Sentinel. In today's world, the federal government is using those legal tactics to target an individual non-consensually to destroy citizens without consent, as long as the combination of tactics that are designed to attack the target individual's life on every angle. They place targeted individuals on the terrorist screening database watch list. They invoked the 1947 National Security Act. This 1947 National Security Act law allows them to strip any American citizens of their constitutional rights and allows our government to do whatever they want to do with the targeted individuals. This is one of many tools that they have created to use people however they want. Our government has many different programs, and they have been using American citizens for experiments.
simulation for over 70 years. They have been testing on citizens for the purpose of training, research, and development for teams in the industry. When the CIA started the MK Ultra program, and it has never ended. MK Ultra had over 149 subprograms and ran for over a decade. In that period, they studied the human brain. Through a series of techniques, they learned how to manipulate and control a person's brain. They knew if they could control a person's brain, then they could control that person totally. In 1962, a neuroscientist by the name of James Delgado started developing what's called neurostimulation devices, brain implants in the brain that will watch things twice. He found that by remotely stimulating different areas of the brain, it would cause different reactions in the animals, like anger, sadness, extreme energy, loss of energy, depression, and so on. In 1973, that same scientist started testing neurostimulation devices, brain implants, in terminal deaf patients in hospitals. By 1974, they had perfected remote mind control. US-5 plus 07291A apparatus for remotely monitoring altering brain waves. August 5th, 1974, inventor Robert G. Mallet claimed to advise people who have the power to remotely control the human brain have the power to control the world. Global dominance is what they're after. Most targeted individuals have been targeted since childhood and are completely unaware that they have been targeted their whole life. They are linked to the targeted human brain that can be out of life. They have so what every aspect of the targeted individual's life based on the duration of the targeted individual's life. Everything the target thinks, sees, and says, plus all the senses and emotions like sense of taste or smell, or emotions like anger, sadness, happiness, or fear, is then remotely monitored and recorded for life. If you are a targeted individual, there are some things that you need to know. First thing is that once you're targeted, it's for life. There's no way out, and there's no escape from this covert targeting program. The covert targeting program is done in 5 stages. 1. Covert surveillance. 2. Covert surveillance. 3. Sensitization and conditioning of the targeted individual. 4. Complete manufactured chaos. 5. The 5th final stage of the program. Isolation. Part of the program. Our government can have been running this control program with American citizens for the past 17 years. They are targeting certain people for selected programs. They are running programs where they target the person from childhood and use the targeted individuals for many types of different programs over the lifetime of the targeted individual. For training, research, and development. They also need programs where they start targeting the target when they have 18 persons for one of their training, research, and development programs. In the first stage of the covert targeting program, they let science do covert investigations, meaning that they will do a full federal investigation of the targeted individual first. At the time of the investigation, the targeted individual will have no idea that they are being investigated. That's why it's called a covert investigation, the study of the targeted individual. Because it's done in a way that the target will never suspect that it's being involved in the target's life. It's all done covertly and secretly. They infiltrate the targeted individual's life in every way. Here's your safety problem. This covert surveillance stage. This study of the targeted individual. They study the targets and want to learn as much about their target as possible. They infiltrate the target's job by either contacting the target's employer and having the employer surveillance the target while the target is working, or they place undercover federal agents in the workplace of the targeted individual. This is done also covert, like the employer now hires new employees by doing things in this covert fashion. The targeted individual never suspected that the new employees are really agents that are studying and running surveillance on the targeted individual. They covertly follow the targeted individual, and they quickly learn the targeted individual's routines, like what types of places the target goes to on a regular basis, and what people the target contacts on a regular basis. Then they infiltrate the targeted individual's life, like for example, if the targeted individual goes to a bar or restaurant on a regular basis, they will put undercover federal agents in places just to investigate and study their target further. They also like to set their target up with false relationships and evidence studies to collect all the targeted individual's data. This is known as the honeypot. They actually create undercover federal agents who get involved in relationships with targeted individuals just to study the target. I have found that in my lifetime with these covert investigations, the studies of targeted individuals sometimes go on for many years. They create agents that will go totally undercover and live with their target. It is usually very important people.
and their thoughts and
if they get the targeted individuals that have false clears information, that is a sure way for the federal agents to collect all the targeted individuals' data. The honeypot knows that federal agents will study the target and learn everything about the target individual as possible. They want to know everything about the target. They learn what the target individual likes, dislikes. They learn the social network the target. They infiltrate the family of the target individual. They study the target and learn everything out about the target. They even want to know what the target's favorite color is. They study and learn everything about the targeted individual. I'm Michael Parsons, and today we're 5 different relationships.